Okay. Call to order. It's Monday, June 9th, 2025, 7 p.m. We have a quorum, even though Brandon and Darcy are out. The three of us do make a quorum. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any additions, deletions, or adoptions to the agenda? I have a few suggestions. How about Jeff and Tom? Okay. I would like to pull out, outside of the consent agenda, item 10, D and E. So wherever you guys want to place those D and E.
Go on to new business.
One would be new and one would be old. Active waste would be old.
Okay.
Okay. So 11E. 11B rather.
B.
11B for active waste.
D.
12 E.
Landscape.
12E, right?
Yep. Yes. E.
Okay. Okay. All in favor of approving the consent agenda? A motion
For the agenda.
to the consent, to approve the agenda
As amended.
as
So
amended.
moved.
Thank you. All in favor?
Yep.
Thank you. Unanimous. Okay. Conflict of interest statement. In accordance with state law, it is the duty of every council member to avoid conflicts of interest. Does any council member have any known conflict of interest with respect to any matter on the agenda? If so, please identify the conflict and refrain from any participation in the matter involved. Conflicts?
Nope.
No conflicts? Okay. Move forward. Mayor and council reports. Anyone want to go first?
Well, I'll go ahead and start off. We had a very good Municipal Alliance meeting last month in Waxhaw on the 22nd, where we were glad to have two of our legislative members, Representative David Willis and Representative Dean Arp, there to discuss things that are going on up in Raleigh, and specifically that House Bill 765 that has so much detail in it about taking away local government zoning authority. It was a very good meeting. There was a lot of discussion. It was live streamed, so I would encourage you to go back if you're interested and look at that. You'll need to go on Waxhaw's webpage to look that up. But in a very brief form, basically both Representatives Willis and Arp said that House Bill 765 is still in the Appropriations Committee on the House side. But the specific quote they gave was, just because it hasn't come out of committee doesn't mean it's dead, that nothing really dies in Raleigh. And that either in part or in whole, a lot of those stipulations could make it through because since it sits in appropriations, appropriations can be amended during the budget process. So I would highly encourage everybody to keep an eye open, kind of check the mail, look at that to see what's happening. In fact, our town attorney here, Ms. Walters, just said that there was an email that was sent out this afternoon that said much of what was in House Bill 765 has now been moved to Senate Bill 205. So if you want to look that up, you might want to do that. But anyway, please keep that in mind. The next Western Union Municipal Alliance meeting will be here in Weddington on Thursday, the 26th of June at 4 o'clock, if you'd like to come by. We're basically going to be talking about the schedule for next year's meetings. So that's, we don't have anything as big as the, and this afternoon, I guess, who is it? CRTPO?
Judy Deller wants to, they're coming up on public information.
Right.
Gathering.
For CRTPO, there'll be a short presentation by Judy Dellard, who has spoken to us before. So I think you know Ms. Dellard. So. And you were there, Mayor. I don't know if you want to add anything to what the representative said about 765, but that's all.
Well, I will say too, thank you for putting that together, because it was, there was a large turnout, packed room, and I thought it was very good. And you guys did a great job in presenting that and bringing it. I will say, you know, folks, we've got to be serious about this. This is a serious matter. There's so many things in this that could affect us here in Weddington. And it's not just us, it's across the state. And it's probably one of the biggest bills, I think, that has come along in a while that can change us so drastically. And again, not just us, but a lot of municipalities across the state. So the news media's picked up on it. I won't get too deep into the weeds on it, but we've got to get involved in this, to say the least. Tom?
I'm on the same vein. People need to contact their representatives and do whatever you can, social media wise or whatever, because the potential of what this could do to our ability to zone or control our town is monumental. If this thing passes in any semblance of what they're trying to do, it will radically change Weddington forever. So if you don't want that to happen, please step up and do what you can. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item number 7. We have Rusty Setzer, who's Vice Chair of the Planning Board. He's going to do a presentation on the construction design process that we're looking at doing here and working on. And so the subcommittee and the Planning Board has been working on this along with our planner, Greg Gordos. And so Rusty's going to give us a little insight into this and what they've been working on. So thank you, Rusty.
All right. Good evening. Yes, it is on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, council members. What we're here to talk about this evening, there will be forthcoming to the town council recommendations for changes in verbiage in the UDO and planning ordinances. Those changes will have to do with the verbiage of sketch plan versus schematic plan. And in order to get you ready for what's going to happen, I will not elaborate on that. You'll see that soon enough. But I thought it'd be good to give you some insight on what the construction process actually looks like. Thank you for being here. This is going to be a little more than more in depth than you guys are usually doing for residential, but this is from a commercial perspective. But it does play into this. Start out by talking about conceptual design. What's that used for? Well, that's the pretty picture that everybody takes the plot plan and colors it up and says, okay, this is what I'm going to try to sell. The developer is trying to sell this to investors or to town council. The designer is trying to sell it to the developers. These are my services. You choose to basically uses the survey as a base for the layout. It's used for the initial meetings with the town planner. It's going to be used with initial meetings with other authorities having jurisdiction. We use that a lot tonight, AHJ. Authorities having jurisdiction. Schematic design is a little more in depth. It is a preliminary design, if you will, the conceptual, takes the conceptual design and begins to elaborate on that and begins to define what those things are. It's going to give you more in-depth things, street layouts, utility easements, contours and existing contours. Okay. It's going to give you the things that are on that are going to be incorporated into the project. It's also going to give you the things such as lot sizes, setbacks, stormwater management, access, from the major streets. You're going to get the limits of disturb with a schematic design versus the sketch plan. You get things like the limits of disturbance, erosion control. One thing I wanted to define for you tonight, we have a lot of people that speak in terms of erosion control and stormwater management. Two separate issues, two separate items. Erosion control is during the construction phase of the project and manages the silt sedimentation runoff from the site. Stormwater management manages the water collected from impervious surfaces on site and releases it into the surrounding streams and creeks at a regulated pace. So two different things when we talk about those. All right, some of the other things contained in this, you have all your adjacent property owners shown in a schematic plan. Same thing, you pull off the county GIS. Next slide. You also have the other things that play into it, such as parking and amenities and space. Well, parking, if you have a clubhouse, you'll have parking. If you have parking, if you have that clubhouse, you have amenities out there. It'll also give you the impervious surfaces, which is what the designer is going to use to get the calculations for their stormwater management. Now, the design flow. We'll come back to this in a little more elaboration. This is just to give you an idea of how this starts. It goes from conceptual design. From that point, it goes to schematic. Once the schematic is gone in, then this is where the town of Weddington actually starts. From schematic design, we're the gatekeeper, we're the first hurdle. Beyond that, if they get past us, then they'll go into design development. There'll be a 30, 60, 90. Again, that's more elaborate than I'm sure you're doing for these for residential developments, but on major projects, you'll have a 30, 60, and 90% DD, design development. After that, at 90%, those documents go to the rest of the authorities having jurisdiction, building inspections. And then from there, they get the comments back. Those become, those comments are incorporated into it. Now that becomes construction documents. Let's talk a little bit, next slide, about, that's a little hard to see. Sorry about that. Let's talk about the next set of rounds. When you get conceptual, again, that's the one that someone takes to Greg and says, hey, here's what we're considering. What are we going to run into? What are the things that we're going to see? This is initial planning. Schematic is where we want to really focus because that's what we'd like to change that term sketch plan to. And you'll see that as it comes forward. It's going to give you a more in-depth look at what are the things incorporated with this. What is a stormwater management plan? Usually we get designs before the planning board right now that have we're going to put the stormwater right here. Now you're going to have to go, this stormwater pond is going to be a little bit bigger than that. It's going to be closer to the actual size because they're going to have to calculate the impervious surfaces around the outside. It's going to give you utility right of ways, give you the setbacks, it's going to give you all the things that we need to do. It's more than we have jurisdiction over. We do not have jurisdiction over septic systems. We do not have jurisdiction over road construction. Those belong under the Union County and under NCDOT, unless they're private roads. What it does do is it allows us to weigh in on the things that we do have jurisdiction over. Land use, setbacks, tree ordinance, density. Those are the things that we get to weigh in on. Now, if they don't pass the first hurdle, the rest of it's kind of moot because you're not going to spend the money to go to 30, 60, 90 if it didn't make it out of schematic. But schematic would give us much more of a framework of getting the things that we need to see at the first pass. And you will find when you get the packet for the future meeting that we've elaborated on what that schematic design is specifically going to include. Once they get to 30, 60, 90, and they get to the authorities having jurisdiction, Then comes the preliminary plat. The plat is going to be a document that is going to be ready for recording at the end of the project and is subject to whatever changes are made during the course of the project. These may be very minor changes, maybe major changes. If they are, then they got to go back to the beginning, start the process over again. But minor changes would be, oh, we moved this road 6 feet this way to avoid a fire hydrant. We had to change the elevation of some utilities because we encountered rock. Those are the minor changes that you expect to see on an as-built drawing. Once the project is complete, then you'll have a final plat, and this is the document that is to be recorded for posterity. So that is the design construction process. And I want to reiterate again, where we see the town of Weddington and the planning board functions in this is at the schematic phase. It will not have a type of septic system on it, but it will have, are you going to have repair fields and drain fields on it? Where are they going to be located? How many trees are you going to clear for that? What is the acreage involved? So those are the things that we're looking at and looking to present to you. But I wanted you to give an overall view of where the design process goes, kind of how it goes. How did I do? Okay. So, this is the things that we're looking at here is being able to improve what we get when we get it from the designers. And the other thing it gives you is the sketch plan has a very vague concept. Chris and I have kidded back and forth a number of times that my 8-year-old grandson with a set of Crayolas can give you a sketch plan in about 5 minutes. The schematic design format is something that engineers understand. It's an industry standard. It has more defined parameters, and it's going to be easier for us to get our arms around exactly what we're getting at the time that the application is made. So there's just a list of more things that are included in that. Again, these are the things that we do have listed here that we do have authority over. So with that, any questions?
Any questions for you guys?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I want to say thank you again for, with Greg, subcommittee, planning board working on this. Thank you guys. I think it's much needed for so long where there's been so many questions we've had about said a proposal and it just wasn't detailed enough. So thank you guys for working on this. And I will say though, too, there might be areas where we don't have, thumbs up or thumbs down. We still want and need to know what certain things are going to be. We can talk about that too.
I think that this will give you the information you're looking for de facto.
Okay.
By fact that you're acquiring it from the schematic phase. But thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you, Chris. Appreciate
Thank
it
you.
so much. Okay, item 8, public comments. And Debbie has the list. Okay. All right. We just have one on the list. Sarah, come on up. Thank you for coming.
I did watch the meeting you were talking about, the Western Alliance meeting. And for anyone who hasn't watched that, it's a long YouTube video. You should watch it. The one thing that came up that I want to talk about first was the impact fees, which are illegal in the state. Would be really nice if our representatives, including the town councils, would really start to lobby for that, because that's one thing that it comes up every now and then, it just fizzles out. So that's an important thing that we really need, and that would make a huge difference, especially if anyone who's committed to public schools, it would make a big difference.
Yep.
And then another thing I want to talk about is when we're having all this development here, like I said, I've been here a long time. I've lived in Arrow. I live in Providence Wood South. I now live off of 6 Mile Creek tributary. And with all the growth, the erosion is pretty crazy. And I've talked with the Ag Center, I've talked with people in Raleigh, I've had people come to my house and look. The one thing they talk about over and over again is the tree canopy. You can't cut down trees. Like they said, the one thing you could do is, your neighbors wouldn't like it, but let your place go wild. The wilder, the better, the less lawns you have, the less pools you put in, all this kind of stuff. The water is the problem. And it's a huge problem. It's not just at my house or my neighborhood. It's a 12-mile, 6-mile, 9-mile creek. So that's one thing. People don't think about that because you don't really notice it right away. And then once you notice it, there's not a whole lot you could do about it because you can't change water. I mean, the creeks are going to go the way they want to go. And there's all sorts of environmental rules. You can't reroute a creek. I mean, it just can't happen. So that's one thing with all the development that's happening. Think about all the creeks that people live on. And there's a lot of them here in Weddington. And, you know, we don't have like a forester. We don't have like Indian Trail has people that help with services. We have a low tax base. So it's a big burden to people to have to take care of issues with the creek, you know. So I just wanted to keep that in mind. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Okay, Deputy Wren, Public Safety Report. Come on up.
Mayor, Council, once again, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for having us and hosting us once again. Thank you so much for the public. Once again, it seems like our numbers continue to grow. Thank you so much for coming out and being a part of our programs. So over the month, our self-initiated calls did go up. So self-initiated would be something that we would do, and it's not a call for service like a 911, so from the public. So we did answer 69 911 hangups. We did respond and answer to 22 vehicle wrecks and or accidents. Only 2 of them were involved in serious injury. So we did answer 43 alarms for service, to include the curtilage of the house or an outbuilding or a garage or anything of that nature. We stepped up business checks to 79. Our follow-up investigation stepped up too. We want to start closing out those cases a little bit faster, especially for summer. So they went up to 30. We continued to increase our foot patrols back up to 13. Fraud and deception reports went up to 9. So it was a pretty good increase from last month. Preventive patrols, being in your neighborhood, saying hello to everyone, especially the kids getting out for summer, we increased them to 652. So traffic stops went up to 152. That is not including highway patrol or anything of that nature. That is just for the Union County Sheriff's Office. So we were at 1,327 for the month compared to last month, which was 1,402. I was able to write up an operations plan for a saturation patrol about halfway through the month. We did it during the day, and then we flooded a little bit throughout the night. There were 2 drivers charged with no operator's license. We had 5 vehicle registration violations, 2 insurance violations. Both those vehicles were towed. 34 were charged with a higher or an increased speeding. So 34 received that. We did receive one of the drivers had a positive alert for a pretty high value warrant that he had no idea that was 12 years old. So we had 2 forged tags. So of the forged tags, we're one of the big 5 out of 100 counties is pushing it. So if you're seeing a 30-day tag or even a 60, we're starting to investigate those a little bit more. Basically, a fraud investigation, basically just out of a traffic infraction and or some type of traffic infraction, anywhere from speed. We're putting them on the shoulder and investigating those forged tags a little bit more. So really looking to the 90-day tags compared to the 60. Now the state's going to be issuing anywhere up to a 14 to 15-day tag. So we're starting to put those on the shoulder and investigate those just a little bit more, making sure that they're real, making sure that the drivers have insurance, and things of that nature. Thank you.
Quick question for you.
Absolutely.
I know you've done the saturation patrols really for a couple years now,
Yes, sir.
and we've encouraged that and appreciative of it. Have you seen a dent in that where people are sort of getting it now? It's like slow down. 16 is not a racetrack. It's not part of Charlotte.
I apologize. I'm not sure if my vernacular is where it needs to be. I think the dent's a small word. I would say it's a major impact.
Is it really?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir. It's some people like to go fishing. Some people like to go hunting. I compare that to now for Providence Road, just simply because 2 or 3 years ago, whenever we were starting to write these once a month, twice a month, we were noticing that it's very easy to get a LiDAR or a radar clock 50 or higher. I'm struggling to get 50 at this point. Maybe we're getting the point across, or maybe it's summer vacations and people aren't home, but we would like to see the latter. So we're struggling to see those speeds. And, what we get excited for is that higher Doppler tone for radar. We're just not getting that tone anymore. So it's telling us that people are starting to get the picture. We're focusing a little bit more on Providence for a certain direction. Now we're starting to look at patterns. So southbound coming from Mecklenburg County into Union County, we're focusing on the higher speeds coming into our county. Later on in the afternoon, when people are going home, we're hitting the southbound side of Providence Road. That's where we see our speeds, and that's where we also see our forged tags. So we've already created the pattern. Now we need to start working the pattern. So that's what we're focusing on now. We're really starting to get specific on when and where and how. So we've noticed that it might be a fancy, beautiful looking car, but it's not going fast. So which one is going fast? So we've already created our patterns. Now we're going out there and working the patterns.
Cool. And you're working deeper into Weddington too, not just 16, but you're working
Other areas.
other
Absolutely.
areas.
Yes, sir. Funny you mentioned that. We stepped up a lot of our saturation on the Antioch Church Road, Antioch into Beulah. So we've noticed that closer to the falls, closer to Forest Lawn. So we've worked from Beulah Church, where the 4-way intersection is, all the way to Antioch to where the Marathon gas station is with Stallings Police Department. So we've contacted Stallings Police Department where our line is, working great with those guys. Really done a really good job with the flock camera systems.
Cool.
The flock has done a really good job helping us out with little things.
Yep.
So we're trying to be in those high target volume areas during heavy traffic, looking for the flocks. When are they hitting? When are they not hitting?
Right.
Then we can look at our speed patterns. Okay, flock is slowing down, but speeds have increased. So just stay in the area. So we've done what we can to try to saturate the back roads too. So Antioch, we hit pretty hard. So a lot of our bigger speed numbers actually came from Antioch Church Road.
Gotcha. Okay.
Another question on the temporary tags.
Yes, sir.
Are you seeing a disproportionate proportion of those coming from South Carolina? Because I seem to see a lot of old raggedy South Carolina 30, 60, whatever day tags just driving around. And I wonder if y'all see that or not.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. So certain states, what we call two-plate states, Virginia, Texas, things of that nature. So that's a pretty good indicator if we have studied what a two-plate state is. Take, for instance, Texas. If you're running a back plate of Texas, but not the front, that's a good indicator that it might be a forged plate. So there's a difference between forged and fictitious. Fictitious meaning you took it off of another car. Forged being you took time out of your day to go to a flea market or someone off maybe even Facebook Marketplace, spend $20, $30, $100 during our investigation to figure out how much you paid for that. It's just a simple question that we ask. A lot of the South Carolina stuff is a little bit different, so they think that we don't study it, which works out in our business. We can get them coming from another municipality such as Marvin, skating through to come into the town of Weddington, and it just doesn't work out. So the red paper stuff that we're seeing for South Carolina, it's worth an investigation for us to figure out two things. Is it a forged tag? Do you have insurance on a state maintained road in the town of Weddington? Yes, sir.
You mentioned a little bit in your
Absolutely.
initial talk. Can you expound any on what I'm hearing in the media about this DMV scam that's running around where people are getting texts or emails? Have you dealt with any of that here in town or in the county that you know of?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. So I can only speak for the ones that I've personally worked, which is two. Of the two scams that we worked, people are starting to get very cognizant. I'm not sure if you all remember. Do you remember the big Duke Power, for instance? Hey, you owe us this much. Hurry up and pay now. This is Duke Power. We're going to cut your power off. Same situation. So they tried it for the toll roads, and then they tried it now for you didn't pay your plate or things of that nature. I'm not going to say the DMV is not going to call you because they might have your contact information, but call us, help us do some homework with you, not for you, but with you. And we're going to do what we can to be a liaison to help buffer that a little bit. But yes, sir, in the two instances that I've seen, it's you haven't paid your taxes on your plate and or it's you owe us money for the toll road.
Well, just for the benefit of the folks watching and the folks here, this is another, they're basically, you call us right now or we're going to, fine you and you need to send the money right now. It's one of those.
Absolutely.
It's a scam, but this is the latest version of you owe us money and call us right now.
Absolutely. Council Perryman brought up a great point. Another scam that we're also seeing is I am deputy such and such with the Union County Sheriff's Office. Just a heads up. If you, the sheriff is an elected official, so he fills an office, not a department. So if you get a call from the Union County Sheriff's Department, give me a call. All my contact information, Ms. Karen has put up on the website. Let me know what's going on, and we'll see how far we can press these individuals and see if they have my contact information. We'll do what we can. You have a warrant for your arrest out. Pay now, we'll get you out of the warrant. That's not how it works. Some people have been through Myrtle Beach and, maybe even transient. Hey, I'm going to cut through. It's not like the old days where you could pay it on the side of the road. We don't do that. We're not taking your cash on the side of the road for a citation. But yes, sir, that is one that we're running into. So the Union County Sheriff's Department, they can go on our social media pages, get a list of names. This person was recently promoted, and they go, I'm going to impersonate this person. Call us, call the Union County Sheriff's Office. All of our information's on there. Call 911 when in doubt, and let us work through it with you. We'll be your buffer and your liaison, and we'll help you work through it. We're not going to let you just throw your hard-earned money away. But yes, sir. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Deputy.
Thank
Raymond.
you.
Appreciate what you guys are doing. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. On the consent agenda, we have the minutes from last month, the 24-25 budget amendment, and also the an authorization for staff to enter into a contract for audit services. Can I get a motion for approval on the amended consent
I'll
agenda?
make a motion
Okay.
to approve.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, unanimous, thank you. Old business, fiscal year 2025-26 budget, proposed budget ordinance. I'm going to open it for public hearing. Public hearing's open. Debbie's grabbing our list.
Sort through and see what we got. It may be later on a different one.
It's Provident. Yes. Okay. There's no one signed up for it, so we're going to move forward. So closing public hearing for a proposed budget ordinance. Discussion and possible consideration of the 2025-26 proposed budget. Comments? I'm going to have Leslie come up and explain to us.
Okay, you have in your packets the proposed 25-26 budget. It's a total of $3,157,000 with a 3.5 cent tax rate. In the packet was a budget message, which kind of summarizes and gives highlights. Go over a couple of key things that I think are important for you to know. The two biggest issues in this budget were the Union County tax revaluation. It was basically a 150% increase in the property tax base. The fiscal year 25 base was $3.27 billion. The estimated base for this coming year, $4.75 billion. So the other big piece in this is the change in the billing method for solid waste. We have shown it the last, 2 years as a fee on the tax bill. We're going to just roll it into the tax rate. So instead of having a tax amount and a solid waste amount, you'll just have one total amount. So that's done for mostly administrative reasons. We do not have an accurate way to identify homes that have properties or have trash collection or do not. So we have a hard time figuring out who to bill, and we have a hard time figuring out who's being billed that we're not billing. So, and then the other issue, one of the other issues is new properties that are added during the year. If we don't, and it's not often that it happens, if the money is not collected during closing, we don't get it. And a lot of times we don't even know. So it might go a year without being a bill, or if it's in the tax rate, it will get collected at closing.
Gotcha.
So, and then,
It also affects what the state gives to us as well, too, correct? Do I have that right?
well, that's the ad valorem in total.
Okay,
So, yeah. And the last thing is, when we have a fee, the difference between what we collect in fee and what we pay goes into a reserve, and we can only spend it on solid waste expenditures. If it's in the tax rate, that opens up any differences to be spent on anything, any general government expenditures.
gotcha.
So all that being said, if we did nothing and left things just as they are, a revenue neutral tax rate would be 1.72 cents. And that would generate the same amount of revenues as we are currently generating. By rolling the trash into the tax rate, the total rate would be 3.5. We're going to get the same total revenues that are affected by ad valorem. And that is where state allocations are based on proportion of ad valorem revenues brought into the county. So if our proportion drops, our allocation drops. And everyone I have talked to is not going revenue neutral. So we would take a hit. So by bumping our tax rate up on paper, that keeps that state allocation neutral. So our total revenues that are affected by ad valorem are the same, regardless of which technique we use. So, and then from an expenditure standpoint, this is our first year of 5 deputies. So we have a $155,000 increase from last year to this year. And in our solid waste contract, we renegotiated, or not renegotiated, but changed. We're going to do a 6% increase this year and extend the term. And between solid waste and public safety, that's 56% of our total expenditures. And the only other thing is that we do have in the budget a part-time permit tech planning assistant. So that is not anything that's set in stone. It's still being discussed, but the money's there.
Right.
So, and that's it.
So just to repeat again, I think it's, we should just mention again, but it's 3.5, but it's revenue neutral, and it's just because we've rolled the
Right.
the trash collection into it. So right
Yeah.
now we're 2.5 with them separated.
Right.
So we're
If you were to add the two together,
right. It's
if you add
three.
the trash, the tax, and the state allocations, they're the same under the 3.5 as they
Right.
would have been.
So I just want folks to
Right.
know that, if you see 3.5, no, we're not
Right.
jacking up taxes. That's just how it's worked out.
Right.
We're including the trash.
Exactly.
You're not getting a separate fee.
Correct.
How much would it be? What's the roughly per household?
Oh, for what we were
Trash.
charging per,
Yeah.
it
what
was
would-
$264 a year per household is what we were charging, yes. So,
Okay. No,
Well, I know too, Leslie, you've done an awful lot of good work on this, and the fact too, not just that it makes it simple on paper, but it simplifies for you and Kim,
Oh.
the paperwork of,
tremendously.
and to me, that's
Yes.
as much of a benefit as the fact that we're just simplifying the numbers,
Right.
for
right.
everybody.
Yeah, and we do have, I think maybe one thing that some people may not realize is we have quite a few people who are paying their bill but not paying the trash.
Right.
And when they do that, what they pay gets split. it gets allocated part to trash, part to taxes. So their taxes are not paid.
Right.
So they're delinquent, whether they realize that or not. And
Okay.
they still owe property tax, which could put a lien on their house. So
Gotcha. So let me ask you this. So we're basically effectively 1.72. Where's the 1.45?
okay, the piece that I told you where the if we charge a fee, our fees are a little bit higher than what our actual expenditures are because we don't want to go negative in trash.
Mhm.
And since they cannot, that money could not be spent on anything but trash, that difference can reduce how much property tax ad valorem you need,
Right.
which would bring that rate down to 1.45 if you were to reduce the total revenues that you need by the amount of the excess trash collection.
Okay. Okay.
So the trash actually contributes to keeping a lower
Yes.
base ad valorem rate.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions,
that'll be it.
comments? Okay. Okay. Can I get a motion to accept but thank you, Leslie, to the budget as presented?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor? It's unanimous. We accept it.
Oh, so-
Yeah. Yeah, set the ordinance, set the tax rate.
At 3.5 cents.
Yeah,
3.5.
3.5 cents.
do you need another
Do
motion?
we need another motion for that?
Put it all in one motion. Make it all in one motion. Approve the budget ordinance for fiscal year 25-26 and set the tax rate at
3.5. Okay. All right. I'll say it again. Can I get a motion to accept the budget for 25-26, proposed budget, and set the tax rate at 3.5?
So moved.
So, all in favor? All right, we got it. Thank you. All right, we'll move forward to item B is the active waste amendment. We did a little update on it, so I'm going to let Tom address that. If you don't
No, I
mind.
just saw in the exhibit, it was, to me, confusing. And I believe that y'all need to rewrite it to make it perfectly clear what the services are.
Yep.
I understand we're not changing the services, but my interpretation of the exhibit was confusing.
It was an error, I think, on my part I didn't add that into the exhibit. So it's just adding that language in that it's, the service is exactly the same, and I will just transfer the language in the current exhibit to this exhibit. And that will be every other week, glass recycling, opposite weeks, single stream recycling, and every week, household trash pickup.
So there is a 6% increase.
Increase
Correct.
and an extension of
3
3
years.
years.
3 years with a
Yes.
6% increase.
Yeah, and just a reminder that there was no increase between year one and year two.
Right.
And so this is kind of I'm going to call it a catch up.
It's a 3 and 3 effectively.
Correct.
Well, and two, when the county unexpectedly went way up on their tipping rates,
Yeah.
we as the town did not, when they made the request, say, hey, they've increased the fees. We want you to increase what everybody's paying. We said, no, we're going to stick with the contract. And
Right.
so for the first 2 years, we didn't have any increases.
And
So,
I believe they asked for the
Yeah.
increase after the contract
Right.
allowed
Yes.
for it. So we
Correct.
stuck with the contract.
Yep.
Right, which was a
In way,
lot
we're making
more,
back a little bit
Yes.
here,
Right.
which is,
lot more than that 6%.
yes.
if we renegotiated, it'd be a lot higher.
Yes.
overall.
Right. So we felt like we did good for the town just by negotiating the 6%. So, okay.
We gotta have a motion. for that.
Yes. Can I get your motion to accept the bidded contract with Active Waste Control?
We have to say all the details.
You can say with the exhibit amended as discussed.
Well, with the exhibit amended as discussed. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay,
Yeah.
favor? All right. It's,
We're approved.
we're approved 100%. Unanimous. Okay?
Right.
We're going to move forward to new business. We're going to move into public hearing for Aria subdivision.
Old
And-
business.
Pardon me?
We're old business, it says.
No.
we're-
No, we've moved into
Oh,
new
we're into
business.
new business
Yeah, we're
the
on
next page.
the next
Okay,
page.
all right.
Um, public hearing. Okay, all right. So Greg, I'm going to let you kick us off with this, with an update.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. This is Aria at Weddington subdivision. So this is a conventional type subdivision, so acre lots. This would result in 9 new lots total, but there's one existing lot already there, placed on a private lake. So this is really only adding 8 new homes to Weddington. Our threshold for a major subdivision is over 6 or more. So this is just over a minor subdivision. This provides 1 new internal road, which is private. It provides 2 cul-de-sacs, which you can see have a center island. So our previous text amendments, we wanted more design features or design creativity for private streets. That's provided here. The utilities are both provided by Union County. So this is a sewer project and it's provided by Union County Water. The engineer and I have gone over several revisions of this plan in order to get this lot layout and to get a lot layout that is feasible and agreeable by the county. So there was a lot actually at the top here. You can see the unique panhandle shape. That's due to the utility easement that runs through the property, and that's shown here. So there'll actually be an easement that runs through some of these properties, but that's just a utility easement. That's not going to prohibit building on the lot in any way. It's just going to be something that goes through their backyard. This is also a gated community, which you can see at the bottom of the screen, just with 1 form of this. And so the threshold for having 2 or more entrances is 15 lots. Again, this is only 9. So for most considerations, this is a very minor subdivision, very straightforward subdivision. There's not additional considerations such as septic fields, septic suitability, et cetera. And the developer is here, I believe, and can speak to this project more.
Okay. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Greg. Okay, you guys come up and share with us.
Hi, my name's Jeremy Schumacher. I'm the president and managing partner with Arcadia Homes. We have been developing and building fully custom homes for over 3 decades now in the entire Charlotte region and for about that same amount of time in the Weddington, Marvin, Northwestern Union County area as well. So a ton of experience in this area. We've built, I would say, well over 100 custom homes, probably within 4 miles of where we are right here. So we are not the property owner. We were asked by the property owner to be the developer and builder to do this. And so we've got our team here, not only our sales and marketing team, but our civil engineers here as well. And so if there happens to be any questions that he can help elaborate on, I know Brent will be happy to share, but Greg did a great job describing what our goals are. I don't want to pretend to be persuasive. My goal was to be informative, if I can be, for any questions. But yeah, what exists today is an already existing home. I believe we're calling it Lot 9 in the northeastern corner up there. There's actually another home on the southwestern part of the property as well. So it's, and it might even lessen the net number of total homes that are actually added to Weddington. But we anticipate each and every home to be a fully custom designed home. We anticipate them being, again, they're going to be fully custom. The client will have very much input in exactly what gets designed. There'll be an architecture review board, an HOA. We anticipate them being anywhere from 5,500 square feet on the low end, probably up to 8,500 to 9,000 square foot homes. We anticipate the all-in price points with lots and homes included to be, certainly over 3 million and probably in the 5s and 6 millions when it's all said and done on the property. So we anticipate being a really great addition to Weddington.
Okay. Tom, Jeff, any comments? Okay.
I have a couple basic questions.
Sure.
And I look at lot 7, I guess that's on the right, for me, it's the right side. It's the one that is the property kind of on 2 sides. It has existing wetlands in several places on it. How do y'all plan to protect them in this, I guess, the grading and whatnot?
Yep, there will be some mitigation required, and we've engaged with Len Renner's group. I forget the name of his actual company. Yeah, WPG. So there will be some mitigation right there. We will have a culvert that goes through there, and we'll go through, of course, all the proper channels, and we've begun all that study and design already, but we're quite aware that that's going to be required.
So by mitigation, you mean y'all are gonna mitigate by buying something, mitigating by doing something off-site to complement?
Quite possibly. We're back and forth with them now on what the maybe most appropriate approach is,
Yeah.
but that's certainly an option we're going to, one of the considerations.
Other question I have is, if you look at lot 8 and actually 9 to some degree, how much of those lots are actually above water?
Above the pond,
Yeah, dry land.
shoot that, I mean, we were actually at that house today, lot 9, and it's well above. I mean,
No, I'm talking about how much of it is not submerged lot. Both those two look like there's substantial amounts of the lot are submerged. That's what I'm asking.
when you say submerged, are you referring to in the pond?
In the pond,
Oh, 0.
well, I see a lot line that looks like it goes beyond the pond limit and goes almost to the other side on both of those two lots.
Are you looking at the colored map?
8 and 9.
Look, yes, sir. So that is the map that we had for our community meeting about a year ago, a little over a year ago. A few pages prior to that is, and
This
what's
was
up
easy
here.
to see, that's why.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I was using.
That
too.
was the goal. But as we got into the design process, we actually had to cause the pond to become fully common open space. So 0 lots are
Okay.
at all within that
was
pond.
my question.
Okay.
because,
no problem.
you know, they look that way. And I guess my other question is, we got rid of the panhandle lot.
It's there. I guess we call it like a flag lot or whatever the terminology is. And the primary reason for that is on the eastern side of that lot is you'll see the sewer easement. And Union County Public Works, we had lots of interactions with them as we were designing the sewer system. And they required the sewer easement to be adjacent to actually bordering on the property. So we kind of had to do a little bit of a redesign there to make that happen.
So I'm trying to make sure I'm looking at the right page now. The way you read, is this the best one?
Yeah, the page right before that's maybe a little clearer, doesn't have all the topography lines on it. That one is, I think, the page before.
And it shows
Yeah, that's the one there.
everything going through it, yeah. Yeah, I was looking at the other one because it was the easy one to read in this whole.
I think that's just referencing what we had presented at the community meeting
Okay.
back then. Yes.
Okay. And then the pond gets upgraded to meet stormwater's 100-year stormwater standards.
Yes, sir. And also, currently the dam is not on the high hazard dam registry. We proactively anticipate that it probably should be. So we currently are having designs and conceptual drawings and estimates done which we will, to upgrade and cause it to become compliant as a high hazard dam. Because when that registry was created, or the last time it was updated, was prior to that pump station being built, which is downstream of it. So we're pretty darn sure it should be upgraded. So we're doing that.
So it'll be upgraded to a 100-year storm because it is being used as the catchment pond,
Sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, want to be 100% clear.
Okay.
I'm looking at my civil engineer. He's nodding his head too. Yeah, that's my
I just wanted to
understanding.
be clear.
Since you're talking about stormwater, I know you had some calculations for us. Could we see that what you calculated for your stormwater?
Of course. Yeah, it didn't,
No, it's not in there.
but it is on the thumb drive.
Right. While they're getting that together, let me ask you this.
Mhm.
I see your streets are 18, let me ask, what's the curbing gutters?
Not curb and gutter, it'll be ditch drained.
Just drain, okay, so no, no curb and gutter, okay. Now, I know you're planning to, the sewer go into 12 Mile Creek. And of course, the county, can't make any promises until you get
Mhm.
there, really.
So we're going to that pump station that is, serves the community north.
Mhm.
And we've got the documentation from Crystal at Union County Public Works with drawdown tests, et cetera, all confirming the capacity of that pump station and the capacity for this community.
Okay.
And we've included, I think on that thumb drive, not only in here is the conditional kind of approval letter,
Okay.
then we've got a more thorough, much more definitive email from Crystal as well.
Okay. When you guys get that, let us
Mhm.
know. So when you get to that point, if there is no capacity, what's,
They got a problem with that.
yeah, what's your plan?
At that point, obviously, we would explore septic, but frankly, it could be prohibitive.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, obviously, nobody wants that, but that would be an obstacle.
Gotcha.
Not
Okay.
not a physical or insurmountable obstacle. I really mean from a performance standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I'm sure staff has mentioned to you about the sinking fund. Has Greg, did you mention that to them?
Once
To
they're
make sure
entitled
they,
and have zoning, I think that's the appropriate time to discuss
okay.
paying money.
Okay, yeah, that's just fund going into stormwater issues and that kind of thing, funding the HOA for that. Okay,
Understand?
and I felt like it's been an area that's been overlooked, and so I'm just sort of bringing that
Okay,
out to
thank you.
everybody. So just an FYI, I guess, for the future.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff, you got any questions or comments? Tom, you're okay?
No, man.
I just want to see
I've been
this,
answered.
the stormwater calculations as soon as you guys get that. Okay.
For what it's worth, to the existing home, we are going to renovate to bring it up to the standard of what we're going to be building as well.
Okay. What size is that home at this point?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, but I mean, it was built as a fully custom home. I bet it's over 7,000 square feet, maybe. I mean, it's 3 levels, has a basement. It's a nice house.
Is it occupied at this point?
Part-time.
Part-time?
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. How large, as far as acreage, is the pond, is the lake there?
Do you know off the top of your head? I think it might say it in there. It's about, I think it's just under 2 acres is probably what I would say.
Looks like 2 acres.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually really nice. It currently has, not all the time, but it has a fountain in it. It'll keep it aerated and clean. It's
Mhm.
already actually pretty clean for being a natural pond.
Have any depth issues with it? Because a number of the ponds around with the other
Yeah.
developments have.
This doesn't seem to. I mean, it's really clean.
Okay.
As a part of that dam study I was describing, we're having all the floor of the pond all surveyed and everything, as we speak. So we'll know everything we need to know.
It can be expensive to dredge, is what I'm saying. If you need to.
If it's approved, when would construction start? What's your turnaround time?
So, and we, as everybody does, we've, anticipating an eventual approval here to where we can finish all the actual construction drawings and submit all the things for permit. Our goal, I believe, would be to have all the construction documents completed over the next few months to where we can get, and we understand also there's a few more approvals with you guys as well, the final plat approval and everything else.
Mhm.
Our goal would be to begin development beginning in maybe fourth quarter this year.
Gotcha. Okay.
and building homes early next.
Okay.
Tell me again, target price point, what you're envisioning.
So again, it'll depend ultimately on exactly which homes the clients, want us to build. But our anticipation would be that it would be in the 3 millions to begin with. And then I would bet that we probably get into the 5s, at least maybe the 6s.
Okay.
Those numbers aren't as big as they used to be. It's crazy nowadays. I mean, that used to be outlandish to say those numbers, but
Right.
not quite as outlandish anymore.
No, it's not.
Um,
Good evening, Brent Cowan with the Isaacs Group.
Mhm.
I just wanted to speak to the calculations in case Karen couldn't get them up.
Okay.
What I have brought to show you was some drainage area maps on that plan. So we have started the construction drawing process with the hopes that this hearing tonight we get approval. So we've taken it to the point where we've drawn the drainage areas, we've calculated the runoff, we've sized the pipes. What I was going to show you was the drainage areas that have all been delineated, runoff numbers. There's a chart on there that shows the capacity of the pipes and the flows to each pipe. And then we had the storm profiles that actually showed you in profile what the storm drainage looked like and the sizes of the pipes and the pipe materials. So that's what I was going to show you. I hope to show you
Right.
if she can get it loaded.
Okay.
So I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there in case she could not.
But I guess one of the drivers ultimately is how much of the pond elevation needs to be for the
Yes, so
differential.
Yes, sir. So as part of the dam retrofit, we're gonna have to regrade it. We're gonna put in an outlet control box.
I don't know. You can email it.
I could also give either one of you gentlemen the thumb drive that it's on, and you could open it directly on your laptops. Nobody else will be able to see it, but that's an option as well.
Gotcha.
Let's give
Okay.
Karen a chance.
Yeah.
The thumb drive itself, no more.
No, the thumb drive's great. I'm just having a hard
Oh.
time getting it from the computer to our virtual drive. Maybe a tray upstairs.
So everything from all the lots goes into the pond is the basic plan. Nothing goes anywhere else.
Everything's gonna go to the pond. We're gonna, detain from the 1-year storm up to the 100-year storm, just as your ordinance.
Okay.
And that box, that outlet control box that we're gonna put in there, the pipe that will control all those storms, and that will be as part of the dam rehab design.
Okay.
That's gonna be a pricey proposition for you, but
The
it's,
dam
yeah,
rehab.
yeah, it is. It's just a fact of life, but at the same time, you'd be building a stormwater pond otherwise, so. Yeah,
The current
there's a
outlet,
trade-off, you know what I'm saying?
yes, sir, the current outlet just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And the slopes are a little steep, and there's mature, big trees all over the back of it, and, if there's a big storm and the tree falls down, it compromises the dam, so we have to clean all that up so it's a safe. impound.
Now, speaking of trees, are you following, I guess since you're,
They were before,
pardon me?
they were before the tree ordinance.
Yeah, before the tree ordinance, are you going to be able to save as much? You're not going in and clear cutting?
No, sir. So we will be clearing only such that is required to install the infrastructure for the roads. The lots will be left undisturbed, other than where necessary to install any storm water measures.
Okay.
But other than that, so really, infrastructure of the roads, sewer and storm water measures are the only areas that will.
Okay.
Until you build your house.
Certainly, that's right. And even then, we will, within our architectural review guidelines, we're only going to be clearing where necessary to build a home.
Gotcha.
Within the building.
And you've probably heard how we've upgraded our tree ordinance, but then you're,
And we
grandfather.
have, obviously, I understand that we have to submit and get a zoning permit for every house individually too.
Right. Yeah. So, our goal is to keep as many as possible trees.
Ours too. I mean, that's,
Especially the big ones.
Yeah.
and I think you guys know, especially when we're talking about caliber of neighborhood that we're talking about, and frankly, that's the caliber of things we're accustomed to doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want those same things, right? That yields more value, it
Right.
yields more authenticity to the community, all those types of things.
Exactly.
It's Weddington's ordinances are very much in sync with our ideals. So,
Cool. Good. Cool. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm just not syncing. I'm out of sync tonight.
You're not in
Well-
sync. Okay.
Yeah, and if I can clarify, just,
Okay.
Mayor and members of council, I appreciate their enthusiasm in bringing that forward, kind of last minute here at the meeting, but that's, as they say, that's an engineering construction document type review. I could recommend maybe saying that it's conditional, approval could be conditional on reviewing and having our engineer review these documents. I'm not sure there's a criteria where you're going to look at these calculations and say, that's wrong or that's right. I'm not sure that that's a zoning criteria to approve or deny the project. And so I'd go by what has been submitted in the packet and what's been publicly available for your consideration. I think just adding new documents is helpful, but not necessarily required in order to proceed.
Okay.
I
So
would say it's beneficial to us to know that the calculations have been done, they've done the work.
correct.
We take them at their word,
Sure.
that they're working, they will be reviewed by our people.
They're here.
So we have, and you've reviewed them, Greg. You
You
feel
have or will,
you have or will?
Will, so
Okay.
yes, so
yeah, they just showed up. Yeah,
this
I
is the
understand.
first I'm hearing about these.
Yeah.
I want to be clear. So
Yeah,
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, that's cool. So you're suggesting we could make a recommendation off of conditional of approval?
yeah, that the documents submitted tonight be actually part of the conditional zoning approval document, and actually have a condition that says that staff has reviewed these and found them adequate. So we don't have to go over those above and beyond details tonight. But
Okay.
I definitely agree with you that stormwater considerations are your purview.
Gotcha. Okay.
In fairness, the calculations have existed while the design all took place. We have a number of documents in there that we didn't think were required to be submittal. We just have backup information, but this happens to be part of it.
Mhm. Okay. So no more questions
Nope.
from anything, you guys?
I'm fine.
All right, I'm going to present a motion. You're correct. I'm going to open for a public hearing. And there is no one. So I guess that's why I forgot. So public hearing is closed. Thank you. So I'm going to open for a motion for a motion, I'm going to say for approval on the condition of staff reviewing the stormwater recommendations and calculations as a condition to this project. Is correct?
Review of stormwater calculations.
Correct.
By
Okay.
staff, does that mean Greg and LaBella? I just want to be clear.
Yeah, I would just
But
I'd keep it as town staff. Yeah, we have engineers on
on staff.
staff, and
Yes.
so they would be the ones that would need that expertise.
Yes.
Okay.
Wanted to be clear.
Yes.
All right. Any other conditions or
No, it
Feelings?
sounds good.
I have the development standards, if you'd like me to read them into the record.
please?
Yes, please.
I've copied them off the plans that you all submitted. The development of the property will be governed by these development standards. All submittals presented to the town board in support of this application and the applicable provisions of the Town of Weddington Unified Development Ordinance in place on the filing date. The rezoning plan shall comply with the current version of the applicable non-unified development ordinance at the time of individual permit submission unless otherwise specified under state or federal law, including GS 160D-108, permit choice and vested rights. Examples of these codes may include, but are not limited to, building codes, fire codes, and/or codes or regulations administered by outside agencies. The rezoning plan shows the general location of all structures, and exact locations of structures may be altered or modified during design, engineering, and construction phases of the development so long as the minimum ordinance standards are met and such alterations or modifications are materially in keeping with the rezoning plan. Permitted uses for this site include all uses permitted in the RCD and R40 districts. This site may be developed with up to 9 single-family residential units. The architectural standards, the building materials used on the principal buildings constructed on site will be a combination of portions of the following: brick, stone, precast concrete, synthetic stones, cementitious fiberboard, cementitious fiber shake, stucco, decorative block, and/or wood. Vinyl or aluminum shall not be used as a primary siding material. However, it may be used on windows, soffits, fascia, and/or similar roof overhang elements, handrails, railings, and/or other miscellaneous trim elements. The proposed roofing materials will be architectural shingles, slate, tile, and/or metal. The environmental features and open space, the site shall comply with the minimum open space and tree save requirements as set forth in D917A, P, and Q of the Weddington Unified Development Ordinance. Required stream and wetland buffers may count toward open space. Stormwater management, applicant shall meet all requirements for stormwater management as required by the Weddington Unified Development Ordinance and as required by town engineers. A, the existing pond will serve to meet detention requirements. B, jurisdictional surface waters, an on-site determination and delineation for the presence of jurisdictional surface waters has been performed and will be provided to the town for review during the construction permitting phase. Access and transportation. A, internal roads will be private. B, all roadway improvements and construction within the subdivision will be subject to the standards and criteria of the town of Weddington and/or NCDOT standards for road construction. C, the applicant shall be required to provide one egress from Ennis Road to the subdivision. Streetscape setbacks, buffers, and yards. A minimum 15-foot side yard and 25-foot corner side yard setback shall be provided. A minimum 50-foot front yard and 40-foot rear yard setback shall be provided. Minimum area for each lot created will be 40,000 square feet. Each lot created shall contain one existing or planted canopy tree for every 40 feet of street frontage or fraction thereof per the UDO section D917A, subsection Q. Utilities, the developer will construct public sanitary sewer and public water lines to serve the proposed subdivision. All existing wells and septic systems will be removed or abandoned in accordance with state and county requirements. Water and sewer services to remaining house on Lot 9 will be converted from well and septic to services provided by Union County Water and Sewer.
Okay.
CZ 2025-03.
Okay.
One question I have, just, I want to be 100% clear that covered the upgrade of the existing pond for the stormwater. If it does, there was a lot of verbiage there. I just want to make sure that's what it.
Almost everything in there was boilerplate except for that. It
Yeah.
did note that the existing pond would be used for stormwater.
Yeah.
Okay. Should
It
that,
will be up to our standards. Is that given or assumed or just want to be clear?
Applicant shall meet all requirements for stormwater management as required by the Weddington Unified Development Ordinance and as required by town engineers.
will this be accepted as a separate motion, or can we have this along with a motion to approve? If it's-
So what we're going to do is we're going to want to approve ordinance number CZ 2025-03, representing the RES subdivision, along with the development standards as read into the record by staff.
Okay. And this is prior to the vote.
That's the motion. That's the motion.
Okay,
That is the motion.
okay. So can I have a motion to approve CZ 2025-03 ARIA at Weddington Exhibit B Development Standards?
Along with the development standards, yeah.
Yeah, along with the development standards, yes. Okay,
So moved.
so we have a motion to approve. All in favor? It's unanimous. So we have a approval. Is there any other approvals that we need for this?
We do
So
need
you
to
that
adopt our
reasonable.
statement of reasonableness and consistency.
Gotcha, okay, okay. I need a motion to approve the land use plan consistency statement provided in the packet. Can I get a motion?
Which one will you do first?
It's one. It's the statement of reasonableness and consistency is one document.
That's what I
Right,
thought.
right.
I just want to be clear.
Right. So can I get a motion for approval?
You need to read it or,
Oh, this did.
oh, you just read that. I thought it was a long thing.
Yeah, this one's not.
This one's not.
Yeah, this one's
I'll
different.
make a motion.
Okay, I have a motion. Motion for approval. Okay, okay. So it's unanimous. So we're approved. Any other approvals? All right. Welcome to Weddington. You're approved. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your presentation and the long period of time to get in here. So thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to move forward under item B for new business, CZ amendment application of Providence Land for amendment to CZ 2023-02 Beckenham for stormwater requirement changes. And I'm going to have Tom, come on up.
You do the public hearing.
Public hearing will come later.
Okay.
Greg, you want to kick us off? I'm sorry.
No problem. Thank you.
I keep overlooking you. I apologize.
You couldn't say it on the agenda that way.
No, it's not on the agenda, so
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I understand. No. Mayor, Councilman, so this is more complicated than the last case. This is an amendment to an existing conditional zoning approval. So case CZ 2023-02, which took place at the end of 2023, approved the Beckenham subdivision, which is a 38 lot conventional subdivision near Lock Haven. That was approved with all of our current standards and conditions, and in fact, noted that it would meet all stormwater requirements that were being worked on at the time. So that's the 5, 10, 25, 50, 100-year stormwater requirement. What that effectively means is in order to meet that stormwater requirement, you need to build BMPs or retention ponds. So those ponds were shown on the initial preliminary and sketch plans that they submitted and had approved. But then Mr. Waters and the development team met with staff earlier this year and stated that while the plans are lower impact in terms of lot sizes and other considerations, having these ponds means they do not meet the standard of being low impact by the state of North Carolina. And low impact development in that definition effectively says that you don't need ponds. You can drain to natural waterways, do gravity flows. You could have other kind of site conditions, but you don't need these over-engineered ponds that anything that you build in Weddington right now to our standard requires. So what the applicant has done is requested that we waive our stormwater requirement for CZ 2023-02, effectively saying we cannot or prefer not to meet the requirements of the UDO at this time, but instead would like to do the following. And so they presented to the Weddington Planning Board some of their alternate plans. They showed documents where if the BMPs or stormwater ponds were eliminated, that there would be more open space, there'd be much more green space and tree canopy, and actually presented finally a revised site plan that reduced the number of lots from 38 to 36, consolidated 2 lots. And so this request is to amend the already approved conditional zoning case to say we are not going to meet one aspect of the UDO, which is the stormwater requirements, and instead are going to do the method that they have described in your agenda packet with some technical details. I'd also note that by doing this low impact state level design where there's not going to be BMPs but draining through existing waterways, the planning board recommended that they analyze the impact to offsite property owners. So if you don't comply with rules, what's the impact to adjacent property owners? And it was found that one property owner would be more negatively affected with this design method. The waters would rise at the low point of their property where there's an existing culvert under the road. And so as a condition of approval, the planning board recommended that they get consent from that property owner, that Provident Land Group actually obtain a drainage easement for that area and have a maintenance agreement to actually maintain that culvert and that 50 feet around that drainage area, to say if it builds with sediment or if it builds with debris, that even though it's on that individual's private property, Provident Land Group and the developer would actually be responsible for cleaning that up and making sure it's maintained. So there is found to be an impact at least to one property owner. Some of those materials are in your packet, but as a condition of a recommendation by the planning board, which the planning board recommended unanimously to recommend this, that property owner be consultant and an agreement take place. At the time of your packet, that agreement was not signed, but my understanding is the property owner is here and wishes to speak on behalf of the project and state that, from my understanding, he's in support.
Okay. Okay, Tom?
Mayor and councilman and staff and our community neighbors. I'm Tom Waters with Provident Land. Kristen is with Provident. Weston and Oscar with WK Dixon Ardura, our civil engineer group. So thank you for this opportunity. You know this from the approval, but we have a little slide up here. Beckingham's a private gated community, custom home community. We're going to have 4 custom builders, similar to the Arcadia person that just spoke. We have 62 acres of beautiful land there, a lot of trees. It's right on Mundy's Run Creek. It's a beautiful property. So we have all our permits to develop, except the stormwater permit from the state. And what Greg was mentioning, when we went to the state to ask for the stormwater permit, they said, well, if you have any ponds whatsoever on the property, you do not qualify as low density. You are in fact high density. So we've always wanted to be an environmentally friendly community, saving as many trees as possible. We're only developing the streets. We're not putting pads or any mass grading on the lots, no building pads. So our property is unique. We're kind of a donut hole in amidst a lot of nice homes. Over 18 acres of this 62 acres is made up of floodplain and stream buffers, substantial amount. So in going to the state and talking about this low density option, we're at 19%. The standard there is 24%. Anything 24% or below is considered low standard, low density. If you're forced into the high density category, that means you have to catch every square foot of surface water on the entire site. We would have to install over 2/3 of a mile of open swales that would be permanent utility easements throughout the site, because all that water has to be brought to one of these 3 ponds. So we believe the low density option is really the best for the quality of custom communities for Weddington. Weddington is known for large lot, environmentally friendly communities where the environment is very important and saving trees is very important. This low density option allows us to save over 300 large trees on the site, 70 of which are heritage trees. Is this the little gizmo?
Should be an on-off switch on the side.
Huh?
Is an on and off switch on the side? You turn it on.
Maybe.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. There. What am I pushing wrong here, Greg?
There you go.
Wow.
You're there.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to
So-
manually take you there, but that's okay.
So I'm on it now. So just as you come inside the gated community, again, we're going to do a pocket park. It's a, what did I, oh, there we go.
Yeah, you just have to
Oh, we're
keep
doing a
track.
pavilion for community gatherings to come together, a little fire pit right at the left where the mail kiosk would be. Okay. So in doing this request, if we save the trees, we don't mass grade 7 acres of land. We're going to use level spreaders because we have that 18 acres of natural area and floodplain. Level spreaders can work very well to let us disperse stormwater naturally through the leaves and trees. I think Sarah was talking about it earlier. These natural tree canopies, which we want to preserve. Let's let the level spreaders and our opails on the streets bring the water through. Let it filter naturally, which really is for water quality as it filters naturally, not just the detention that was talked about with the storm ponds. So when we came initially to the planning board, they said, as long as you evaluate the downstream impacts and there's not any, then come back and talk to us. So that's what we did. We surveyed all the downstream impacts along Mundy's Run and this other small tributary that's up at the front. About 80% of our site naturally drains to Mundy's Run. About 20% is up front there. So in doing that, we said that there was some impact. I think it was 1.9 feet or so, Mohit, on the stream at the entrance there. So we've met with the lot owner, Mohit, who's going to speak here in a minute. There's a 30-inch culvert there that was literally blocked. We removed all the logs and debris, some of which had been there for maybe 20 plus years, who knows. And we've been observing it for the last month, and it's been flowing very nicely during all of these heavy storms that we've had. So we've reached an agreement with Mohit for Provident Land and then our homeowners association to perpetually maintain that culvert opening, just to be sure there's no debris or logs or anything like that that gets comes into play there. Let's see here. Okay, another thing that we're doing, we didn't include this in our stormwater calculation, but we're adding a 5,000 gallon rainwater harvesting facility to every home. Every home will be required to have one of those. That'll catch the rainwater off of the roof and around the home some and go into this 5,000 gallon cistern, which will be used for irrigation purposes. Every home will have that. Yeah, we talked about that. We're going to use double silt fence downhill stream side. We're going to use, there's no curb and gutter within the community. We're going to use these side ditch, not unlike what Arcadia was mentioning, which would be grass swales. So it'll naturally let the water dissipate, and then it'll carry the rainwater through to these natural areas and go into a level spreader. I'll have a picture of that up here, I think. Okay, this is the impact under the high density option. Everything in red would have to be cleared, and you can see those permanent swales that go through the lots and in the backyards and such. Very impactful. 370 trees. We surveyed every tree, and that's what's shown here. Everything there in yellow would be destroyed. So we just keep, there's examples of some of the heritage trees that are there. This is what we want to do, a green site. So keep on going, whoever's doing that. This is the actual flood study impact. And if you look at Mundy's Run is on the right side, there's two lines. It's the pre-development flood line and the post-development. After you remove the pond, there's no impact, negligible impact on Mundy's Run. If you remove the ponds up in the front there is a little impact, which we talked about earlier, 1.9 feet. It goes down to the culvert at Hidden Haven Trail. And we've worked out that easement with Mohit. Okay. The top left is a level spreader. Basically, it's a device that goes parallel with the topography. It's about 40 feet long. You bring the stormwater in through a grass swale. It comes into that area and goes over a concrete curb and allows the water to basically be dispersed and spread out. And then it'll go from there down into the floodplain and the natural areas and dissipate. Then you can see examples of the double high hazard silt fence. We're also going to use, check dams and flock logs during the construction cycle. That'll help reduce the amount of sediment, turbidity and such that goes through the system. Okay. This is just an example of the rain harvesting system. It basically goes to the low corner of the home, and that's where you collect the rainwater for irrigation purposes. These are actual pictures of all the trees that would be lost if we went with the detention pond. There's 3 ponds on the property. These are exact pictures of the 2 of the ponds. This is what we don't want to do. If we were to have to do this, we would be mass grading about 2 acres or so on the side of the pond while the dam structure was being built and stabilized and such. This is also an example of what we don't want to do. This is a typical mass graded site where you do pad development and very little tree preservation within the community. We would rather do it like this. This is a Weddington community where you site place the homes, you observe trees and save trees. we're using the panel block septic system, which is about half of the drain fields required from the conventional systems. But this type of community would let us site place our custom homes and preserve as many trees as possible. That's basically it. I kind of ran through it fast, but go back into more detail.
Okay. Questions?
Nope.
Tom?
You have your stormwater guy here to explain the calculations to say that the impact is.
Yes.
I would like to hear it from the horse's mouth.
And Mayor Pro Tem, we also have Bob Wilson with Lipton Associates to verify on the town side as well.
Yeah, so Bob, as Greg was saying, Bob has reviewed all our calculations and kind of agreed that he finds those acceptable and how we calculate it. So.
Right. So the level spreaders, the pictures were hard. It starts off as just a straight sheet. At the very end, it fans out. Is that correct?
So you would have your ditch coming into the level spreader, and the theory behind it is you create a low spot behind this concrete curb.
Yeah.
That is, all you can see of it is probably a couple, let's say 3-4 inches along the top. If you can go back to that picture, I could. Maybe
It's
my
hard.
hand gestures are probably not helping here.
It's hard to see.
Yeah.
Especially with glare in here. It's 2 or 3 back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this picture here is it. So you can see the white line there.
Yep.
That is the level spreader. And what the water will actually do is build up behind that curve. And that curve is set at a level area. And then the water just flows over that. So besides going into the creek as a channelized, like 2 or 3 foot wide, basically outflow of water coming out of a pipe, or if you had something like that, it would be sheet flowing at 40-foot width over that curve and flowing down into the stream at a more dissipated rate.
So the centerpiece there that I see going up, oh, it's coming this way.
So it's going this way. Yeah. So the water come out of the ditch, and then this is like a depression behind it. And then when it builds up, that depression builds up, then it flows over that.
Comes this way.
Yeah. Have you ever seen like a dam? You ever see how it just like looks like a uniform flow going over a spillway or something? That's what it looked like.
No, I've been on the stormwater committee and I've seen it. You have basically this is, I'm looking at it backwards, but it's the big flare that spreads the water.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
Slows it and spreads it.
That's correct.
Now, what keeps it, how do you keep it cleaned out? Over time, stuff growing up in it, trash and weeds and what?
That would be part of the HOA's requirements. They'll have to maintain it.
Okay.
Yep.
How would you make sure they do that?
Yeah, in the documents for the HOA, they'll have, I'm guessing we'll put a periodic maintenance requirement they'll have, and it'll be just like landscaping areas on the site, like the entrance pond invitation or so on.
Mhm.
They'll have some periodic that they have to go in there and maintain it and make sure it's working properly.
Gotcha. Okay. How many level spreaders do you think you'll need throughout the property?
I think there's 5 outfalls that we're putting them on.
Okay.
And then they run a reasonable distance until they hit a stream. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're putting them outside of the stream buffer. So you got automatically they're 50 foot, and some of them are even higher up than that.
Right.
But we try to get them closer to the stream, because if you get them farther away, that's just more area for it to.
To a road.
Yeah. So, I mean, you want it to get it in a level area or an area that
Back
can
down,
natural.
Not on the hill, but down to where you're hitting the floodplain.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Understand.
Do you anticipate any effect to Monday's run?
So
with
Monday's
this?
run has a FEMA floodplain on it already. And so when we did the study, so basically, and I'll try not to get too technical here, basically the calculations proved that there was no rate change, meaning the pre-development rate at which stormwater leaves the site is almost the same as post. Now, rate means
how much is leaving the site at the highest level of it leaving the site type. Not, so when you're looking at it, the peak, we're actually spreading out with kind of how we're have the site designed, some of the flow, so it's not hitting like a higher peak. The reason why it is required a lot of times is because you can real dense development, and the peak will skyrocket real high, where this is a lower impact, so the peak's not hitting like that. And that was Bob reviewed that with the calculations he had that we submitted to him. Kind of agreed with our approach on
And
it.
I guess in one way, this is slowing down the water flow significantly that goes out.
Yep.
Unfortunately, for a stormwater calculation, B, you're not truly capturing it. You get no credit for it.
Correct.
Because you have to capture to say we have caught this much, then let it go at a certain time. This way, you get, I guess, no credit for the level spreader or any absorption you get in the floodplain before it reaches the creek.
Correct. And we did not model the level spreader. We did not model the tanks that we were going to be putting in or anything like that. Why we did it that way was trying to be conservative and not trying to overstate what the project would be. We wanted to prove that it worked.
Any idea how much the tanks would catch effectively, ballpark?
So are you talking percentage was, or are you talking?
For the whole development, how much would those tanks catch off those houses?
So what we committed to is 5,000 gallons for every home site. So I think there's 36 home sites now, and put me on the spot there to do that math. So it is not.
Is it 10% of the overall runoff, or you think 20% of the overall runoff?
I think it's probably more in the 20-25%. Yeah, it's catching on a 100-year storm. Like it's going to catch. If you're talking about the amount of impervious area that'll catch, it'll be over 50%. The only thing it's not really catching would be what's in like the right of way or some like driveway out there. So it would be well over 50%.
You catch what's at the house, but not what's at the driveway and the road.
Correct.
So that's all the part that's still going down to the streams.
Correct. That is correct.
So, okay. I have a question for Tom. Thank you. I think we talked about this beforehand. You say 19%.
Yes.
How do we prevent, let's say, either the home builders or the people after the home builders are gone and they decide they're going to build massive impervious stuff behind their house to keep us at the no more than the 19% level? It's raining pretty bad.
Yeah.
You're probably having 1 year right now.
So we are legally committing ourselves never to exceed 19%, but we're also going to be creating a bank and managing what percentage is used on every lot. It's part of the permitting process. In fact, we turn in a report to the town on a regular basis that helps us keep track through our civil engineer. When we're built out in whatever 4 or 5 years or so, then the homeowner association will take over that responsibility. They'll have very specific deed restrictions, homeowners association documents and declarations that guide them through that process. They can't just go out and add another swimming pool or another outbuilding or something like that without going through the process.
Just wondering if we do start something here, we don't end up getting there.
Right.
That's always the fear, because you don't have the ponds. You have to do this by straight calculation to keep it low density. And I wanted to be clear on that.
Could I get Bob's input on this? What your thoughts are on this?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council.
And you're with Labella.
I'm with Labella. I'm Bob Wilson, Associates, and I did review their stormwater calculations they submitted. I approached this with a high level of skepticism because when they initially went to the planning board, they wanted to get out of detention. I said, well, if you're going to do that, let's do a downstream impact analysis. And so they sent through Greg to me, and we agreed on the impact point to look at, which really wasn't very far downstream because the two streams come together. At that point, this subdivision is such a small fraction of the overall watershed, it's insignificant. And looking at this, and does this work? Can I back it up? Back it up. I was going to look at the map if I could.
I think
Yeah,
Ray
the
can
the
get-
watershed map.
Yeah.
Keep going backward. There you go. Back, forward. One more. There you go. If you look at the stream on the right, that's actually Mundy's Run tributary number 2. It is a regulated floodway. At that point, that stream where it leaves the subdivision is less than 10% of the overall watershed. And so the analysis showed there was no real change in flow, kind of a hydrograph timing thing. And again, I don't want to get too technical, but I did agree with the model they presented and the results they had. On the other tributary, toward the bottom of the page, and you can see the 2 colored lines where they plotted the pre and post development floodplain. A couple things to note there. One is at this point, that portion of the subdivision that drains there is about 1/3 of the overall watershed. So it has a much more significant impact on it. So even though the flows increase significantly, and at this culvert, which tends to raise water surface elevations anyway, there was a rise of about 1.99 feet in the 100-year storm. However, it was not predicted to overtop that road. So, which is unusual. Usually a 100-year storm will overtop most roads because they're not designed for it. What makes this area unusual is the topography is very rugged. And so the homes on these lots that are downstream, they sit way up on the hill and the channels are in the valley. There's some erosion in the ditches, particularly along, the ditches are very stable. They're very stable, but there's some erosion along the outside of bends. This will likely continue. And I'm not advocating for or against having detention or not having detention. I would just say if you're not going to do detention, this is probably one of the ones you would consider it because of the impacts are minimal downstream. One thing we did require was that they evaluate the culvert downstream. Excuse me, we didn't require it. We recommended it because I don't require anything, right?
We can do that.
Yeah, that's your job. My job is to recommend and advise. Was to evaluate the culvert downstream and to notify the impacted property owners. And when I looked at the culvert downstream, it was completely blocked, as Tom mentioned, with logs, debris, branches, leaves, and so I don't know how water was getting through there. It was finding its way through, not very effectively. They cleaned it out. They cleaned out the entrance so they could inspect the culvert. They looked at, they didn't run a pipe camera through it or anything, but they looked at the culvert, looked down the culvert. It appears to be in decent shape. It was obviously put in by whoever first developed that road, maybe the first house out there. I don't know if it was done as a farm. I know up until recently that was a gravel road. It's now paved. Not very well, but it is paved. It is a private road. So I think there's,
That was a question. It's a private road.
it's a private road. So but that's kind of what we found. And I'll answer any questions you have.
I guess one thing, for people downstream of the culvert.
Yes,
does
sir.
the culvert actually act as a constriction to
Yeah,
keep them from having impact?
It is
downstream from
constrictions.
there?
It limits the impact. If you look, the biggest impacts in the rise in the water surface elevation are upstream of the culvert because the culvert is a natural restriction. Downstream, it washes out. And then you get maybe 100 yards or more downstream, it joins with the other tributary where again, it's a small part of the overall watershed. It's kind of, this is because of the geography and the topography, it kind of blends in very well.
So if you got well farther downstream, it'd be negligible.
Yes, sir. The farther you go downstream, the less impact it has.
Because it's dissipating.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well,
to,
other
and to,
things would be impacting it, not this.
yeah,
Right.
and to simplify the idea of a level spreader, just think of it, basically what you're doing is you're taking concentrated flow coming out of a pipe or a ditch, and you're converting it back to sheet flow. Because before you do a development, if you have a hill, you kind of have sheet flow going off the hill that eventually cuts channels and ditches and all that. With a development, you could have concentrated flow, and even if you had a detention basin, you have concentrated flow coming out of that detention basin. You have a pipe coming out. And a level spreader just converts that concentrated flow back to sheet flow and gives it the best chance to not misbehave, because water will misbehave given the opportunity.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions?
Any more questions before we go to public hearing? Do we may have some more questions afterwards?
It's the landowner, property owner.
He's part of
He's
it
gonna talk on.
in the public
comments
hearing, yeah.
first.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go to public hearing. I'm gonna open up public hearing. We may come back to you guys too. Okay? Okay, we're open public hearing. Joseph? Joseph?
He's coming.
I'm sorry, said Ivan? Yes, you can do that. That'd be fine. You are.
Well, I apologize up front for being a little redundant on some of the comments Greg made, but we'll reinforce that a little bit. So good evening, Mayor Bell and members of the town council. My name is Ivan Merritt, and I reside at 700 Lock Haven Road. Following the planning board's October 23rd, 2023 recommendation to approve Provident Lands conditional zoning application, the Weddington Town Council voted unanimously to approve Provident Lands conditional zoning at their November 13th regular town council application or meeting. The vote and approval factored a proposed presentation from Tom Waters of Provident Land Services, which according to the September 12th, 2023 community meeting report for the Beckingham community, Mr. Waters stated, all stormwater runoff will be detained within various ponds within the property. Mr. Waters further stated in the proposal being pursued for town council approval that the community will include a 50-foot perimeter buffer around the entire development, as well as 3 detention ponds. These proposed sand filter ponds will further control runoff and will allow runoff to slowly dissipate naturally as rainwater leaves the site. This is what is currently required by the town of Weddington for its stormwater ordinance. This is what the applicant proposed and submitted for approval, and this is what the town council accepted for the approval. It contains the 100-year stormwater requirements and should not be altered. There was certainly no concern for needing to remove trees required for putting in the proposed agreed-upon detention ponds, nor should the town council be agreeing to allow the developer to alter stormwater required ordinance simply because a broader state level view suggests the development's density level doesn't need the density ponds. I just ask that you please apply good integrity as the town's council. Uphold the standard and agreed upon plan that you've already approved. Uphold the town's required stormwater ordinance and hold the developer accountable to build accordingly. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Joseph?
Mayor Bill, council members, thank you. My name is Joseph Pietrantonio. I'm at 507 Lock Haven. I'm the property adjacent to their development. I got to meet with Thomas out in the field, and he was able to explain to me what's going on for his development. My concern was, because I do have a creek in my backyard, and I was worried about their development may impede the flow of my creek, but discussion, but he showed me with the same slide that you guys showed, I wasn't going to be impacted as much. And frankly, I mean, I don't want to see a retention pond near my backyard when I look out my deck. So if they truly did their 100-year water plan and shows that there's not going to have a major impact or any erosion of that sort, and I don't really have an issue with that. So that's all I have to say.
Okay,
So,
great.
thank you.
All right, thank you. Chad?
Good evening, council members. Chad Emerine, I live in Arrow Plantation. I wanted to comment on Beckingham. I met with Tom Waters last week. He showed me the property. I went back and reviewed the planning board meeting and then did some additional research. And I have a couple concerns on this proposal that I'd like you to consider before voting. I live downstream, and any potential stormwater issues could impact many residents, including myself. The biggest one is I have concerns over the percent of impervious and how that can be enforced. In the first planning board meeting, it was 17%. Now it's 19%. And I don't really see any documentation on how the impervious calculations are. So I'm a math person, so I went back and tried to do some math on it. And the total parcel is 60.61 acres. 19% impervious is 11.5 acres. I looked at the Meadows, which is another Weddington development, which has high-end builders. On the Union County website and the parcels, I looked at the footprint of many of those lots. I assumed they would be similar, large custom footprints. I saw a range that averaged close to 5,500 square feet of the first floor, garage, patio, and porches. I then assumed 2,000 square feet of driveway, since many have circular drives and accommodate a 4 to 5 car garage. Then I assumed 500 square feet for outdoor living, pool, detached, whatever. And with the 36 lots, I came up to 6.6 acres of land. I don't see the road lengths, so I tried to guesstimate that based off the map scale and assumed DOT width. I came up with about 4,500 square feet, 4,500 linear feet of roads, which gave me about 5.2 acres. This landed me at 11.7 acres, which is over the 19% impervious. Plus, it's not impervious, but you also have to factor in my opinion, the septic drain fields, which you have to clear it. So you have to have repair areas and the drain field. Then that will not be beneficial in terms of absorbing the water. Many were in the swale areas that were proposed if it's a high density area. As far as enforcement, I know Tom has a plan to cover it during the development, but if we don't have an effective way to enforce it, how is it after it's developed? Will there be specific deed restrictions on each individual lot when they buy it? How can the HOA truly enforce it when the homeowner wants to remove a patch of trees, build a patio, add a pool, whatever? HOAs struggle to even enforce some of the basic covenants. Based on all this, I'm asking if you would consider tabling this until you have more information that can be provided on this impervious, or deny this request. We have too many issues with stormwater and sediment in the town, and we don't need to set a precedent by allowing this without the extreme details. Atherton has a similar low impact concept, and I think you heard in April at Huntington Creek, they were having issues.
Thank you, Chad.
Thanks.
Okay. Mohit?
Good evening, respected council members. Well, first of all, I am not a civil engineer, so I definitely cannot talk math to that level in degree. And I do remember coming here for a hearing when another complex was trying to come down there in the same area.
Can I get you used to the mic a little closer just
Sorry.
because of the rain?
Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
In 2000, I think it was 2021, when there was another developer who was trying to build homes in that same area. I remember coming here, and a lot of times every single person jumped up saying, we do not want, because the same developer built another community across it and did a pretty bad job. Well, guess what? I live in that community. And I know exactly what troubles I go through every time. So when Tom came to me and suggested that, well, not suggested, first of all, he reminded me there's a new community coming in, and that just made my radars go up. Second, my land is right there, which is getting impacted. I don't think I liked the first time I heard 1.9 feet more water, or approximately that much is coming in. He worked with me to show me if I was to build a house, which I do intend to, the money's there, how we can work through it, because even if you do whatever you do, there are certain aspects of development that I need to consider. So I met with my civil and, of course, unofficial review. And they came back saying the same thing, like the increase of the water does not impact my land nearly to what it looks like on a piece of paper. I just need to be careful, especially because I want to have a pool in the backyard, so it impacts it. Keeping all those things in mind, what really triggered a positive view was his first thought that we're not going to do regular pads. we're not cutting trees down. And believe me, there is a development that I'm working towards, which Tom doesn't know about, is in Ballantyne. And we were forced to cut trees down in that development to make that happen because it's Ballantyne. I get it. It's high density. We had to build a pond over there, and we're doing that. The flip side to that is the neighbors who are living there, or also my buddies, are impacted by rainwater, which we just had some really bad rain recently, and the water just keeps flowing in there. His idea gave me a different idea for me to do what I need to do over there. It's not level spreaders, it's completely something different. We work with the city to figure out a solution, how I can raise the land area so the water can just be in a swale-like setup and go straight into the pond, which doesn't exist right now, and helped us to move forward. So I guess the point is that I love the ordinances. What I don't like about ordinances is that if we have to innovate and think outside the box, we should have the ability to do that. And let's give it a try. Now, can it backfire? Absolutely. What has not backfired is whatever is in place has still backfired. And I haven't seen any positive returns. But if I can save some big trees out there, which actually look beautiful and actually help us in many different ways, why not give it a try? That's pretty much where I came from. Like I said, I'm not a technical person, but it actually helped a lot to understand where he's coming from and what he's trying to accomplish. For many people around here, I know they always think like developers want to make money. Yes, we're all into the business of making money. But if I can benefit from that money, I'm going to take it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, it's all on public hearing, closed public hearing, unless anyone else has anything to say. Okay, public hearing is closed. Any questions or want to hear anything else from the developer or more? More?
Well, Tom, I think you addressed Chad's issue of how to restrict the development, I assume satisfactorily. Chad, did you hear what he said earlier about how they're going to explain it again?
All right. Our site is, I think, a little over 62 acres. So I'm not sure where that other number came from. Anyway, so we're going to commit to 19%. That'll be deed restricted. It'll be a reflection on the conveyance of each lot to each homeowner. Then we're also going to be banking it. And actually, Weddington has this set up. There's another community in Weddington, and Civil Engineer Group has to submit on a regular basis what impacts lots are having. Heavily governed. Our homeowners association documents will also incorporate this. So not only deed restriction, but homeowners association will also monitor this in perpetuity, because we're not going to let anybody just come build in the community without going through the right permitting and HOA architectural review and such. And the percent impact on each lot is a big part of that. Now, I will say this, gentleman said earlier, 17% or so. Yes, it was 17.5. We increased to 19%, even though we thought we were putting 10 or 11,000 generously on every lot. We felt like, hey, let's add another 1.5%, say 19%, even though we could have gone to 24%, to give us a little extra room in there for those situations in the future when somebody might want to do something else. But we feel like that the impervious cover per lot is very generous in terms of the homes we built.
Let me ask you this, Tom. And I don't really know how to ask it. What if you do this and you find there's more water coming down the pipe than you thought there was? How do you solve that? Is there a backup plan if you say, hey, oops, we messed up on our calculation? How do you?
Well, I hear what
say-
you're saying. I'm not a civil engineer in terms of quantities or volumes and such as that, but they've done a significant job modeling what the impacts would be. The only thing I know to do from old school would just be to install additional silt fence if there was an issue anywhere on the site below any concern. But beyond that, I believe that the level spreaders and their opportunity to disperse the water will do its job. And remember, we're going to have open swales on the sides of the roads. That's grass swales.
Mhm.
Also remember that the sites, we're using a panel block septic system, Chad. So it's less square footage cleared. And I believe that they let some of the septic tank sites count as letting water go through there. So anyway.
Okay.
It's not impervious.
Right.
I guess the question I ask you, if there ends up being an issue, is there a way to, I'd say, broaden the level spreaders if an issue comes up to help spread the flow further?
I mean, you can look at increasing the tank sizes that we're putting on each house or something like that,
How
but
did y'all determine the size that y'all, the footprint at the end that y'all came up with?
for the tanks.
Not the tanks, no, at the end of the levels, the width of the level spreader.
We actually, like, there's a calculation in DEQ's manual that you can go by. So, and I'm pretty sure most of the level spreaders we're committing to 40 foot in length, and they don't have to be that long. So we're actually going more than the DEQ requirements on the length of the level spreader.
And we didn't include the level spreader calculations in the stormwater impact.
No, we did. So the tanks that would be on each side and the level spreader, none of that was tried. That we were trying to be conservative in what we were trying to do.
Thank you.
Okay. And I know I'm sort of, just saying the same thing I said earlier. Forgive me, Greg, for saying this, but on 165 of the UDO, it talks about the sinking fund, and that is primarily to help fund for stormwater issues and the management of the facilities. So that would be a requirement, is also to fund that for the HOA in case there are situations and problems down the road. So
Prime the pump, basically.
right, exactly. He's exactly priming the pump,
Yes.
and the HOA is should continue to fund that. And like I said, it's on page 165 of our UDO. Any other thoughts, concerns?
No, I think it's been thoroughly reviewed by the technical folks. Planning board certainly did their job, and especially making that recommendation about the downstream effects as suggested by LaBella. The homeowners here said he's good with it. And yes, this is a unique situation, but that's part of what our job is I think was mentioned. We've got to be able to address situations like this when they come up.
Right. No, and I got several emails too from surrounding residents saying that they would rather have this situation here as opposed to looking out their back door to this neighborhood and seeing these big ponds and, taking all the trees down and having these big, what they refer to as just nasty looking stormwater ponds. And so they would rather, have this as opposed to having those ponds in their backyard. And so we did get emails, at least I did, over the last month or so about that. So can I get a motion to accept the, I guess it'd be an amendment to the stormwater plan so we can move forward?
One moment. I'm sorry for interrupting, Mr. Mayor. I have an amendment to the Exhibit B in the development standards on the original approved CZ ordinance 2023-02. And it reads, applicant will meet the North Carolina low impact development stormwater requirements and runoff volume match per NCDENR and NCDEQ. Developer will notify neighboring property owners of the changes in flows and water surface elevations that affect their property. Developer's engineer will evaluate the 30-inch RCP at Hidden Haven Trail, and developer and property owner of culvert on parcel 06153053 will come to a legal agreement for the maintenance of the culvert.
Okay. That would be part of the motion as well. Okay. Can I get a motion for approval on this as stated?
If I knew how to state it properly with all those.
We'll have, what we're looking for is a motion to approve CZ amendment from Providence Land as an amendment to CZ 2023-02 for the Beckingham neighborhood and the amended development standards.
That's what I move.
Yeah, whatever she says. Okay. So motion for approval. Tom, you have can I get a vote? So, all right, it's unanimous. So we, it's
This
approved.
is a unique situation.
It is.
I
It's
would
different.
very hard pressed to deviate from 100 years, stormwater rules. And this is, about the only thing I could see that would do it. It is not something that will be a routine
Correct.
occurrence, I assure you. This one seemed to be the one that made sense for that area. And, but it'll be hard pressed to get me to do something again.
Correct. This is not setting a precedent that we will continue on. So a motion is approved.
And do I need to make a motion on the, I'd like to
Yes.
make a motion that we approve the statement of reasonableness and consistency relating to Providence Land Amendment CZ 2023-02 as provided in our packets.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, so unanimous. Okay, so the motion passes. So,
Make it work, Tom.
yes,
Make it work
Thank you.
right.
yeah.
Oh, we're gonna hear about it.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Okay. Okay, we'll move forward to item C. It's a text amendment 2025-04, section D 917A-G. It's private roads and gateway and section. D 918.1, screening and landscaping. Okay. Greg, I'll let you kick it off.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I doubt many people in the audience are staying for this one.
It's cleaned out.
So we'll let them filter out. But this is a really straightforward text amendment. This is procedurally cleaning up a previous text amendment that was proposed.
Hold on one second. I'm gonna get you guys to hold it down back there, please. Hey, guys, hold it down. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Greg.
Thank you, Mayor. No, so this is a what I would consider a cleanup text amendment to a previous series of amendments that were done in February, March of this year. The specific language of text amendment 2025-04 is in regards to two items, as noted there in the agenda item. One is to note the requirements of private roads. We're essentially taking out three items that are administrative in nature, but are not really in our wheelhouse or jurisdiction. They're regarding the maintenance of gates. So we're simply striking several items from that existing section, D17AG, that says that they have to provide a maintenance report every year. That's unnecessary as they're on private property, they're privately maintained, and they are the liability of a homeowners association. They have no requirement of the town. Now, it is a public safety issue. The fire department, the police, they do need access to those gates, but that's already stated in the text. And then the second one's even simpler. We passed a text amendment that said berms are a permitted landscaping feature of new residential development. This simply cleans that up in another reference in the code and saying that berms are applicable to commercial and residential items. So it states currently that it's non-residential only. That's being struck because it applies to residential use as well. This was brought before the planning board. I believe it was actually Bill Dieter noted some of these deficiencies. Very quickly, the planning board recommended approval and recommendation for these minor text amendments.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I'm just throwing this out here to you guys, to staff. Talking about berms. And again, correct me if I'm wrong here, okay? I guess sometimes reading through the UDO, you can get lost in things, and there's something that says something here, and it's addressed way over here. The berm dimensions and the sort of specs of the berms. Berms are first mentioned on page 43 of the UDO, but you don't see anything more about berms until page 65, number 7, where it talks about the dimensions and the slopes and all that. So my question is, where I'm going with this, would it be easier to put all that together so when a developer is looking and he finds the berms, he talks about berms,
It talks about all of it.
it gets it all. And so he doesn't miss that. So when it gives, berms, are permitted, blah, 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 it's just not thrown out there. We're sort of consolidating all of that to one area. Does that make sense of what I'm trying to say, I guess? It just makes it easier to pull all that together.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the berms are most strongly kind of referenced in the thoroughfare buffer section, but it's not talking about the dimensions. It's just saying they need to be in there or they're an alternative use. They're not talking about the design of it. So you're correct that reference to berms jump around in the UDO. And in regards to, do we need to pass this now or can we bundle this with something else? We have significant text amendments scheduled for next month. So if you want to pass this as is and recommend addressing that as well, or just table this item to go along with all the other text amendments, that's perfectly reasonable either way.
What's the council feel about that to, consolidate where it's all in one
I
area?
do think that anything that's going to make the reg easier to translate.
Yeah.
And especially, again, if you're going to put it, on page such and so, or okay, berms, and then you can say dimensions, whatever. Also see references on page, even if it's something as simple as that, to tell them, don't just stop here.
Right.
You're going to need to look further down. And again, I don't write textbooks. I don't write legislation or what the legal stuff. So I'd have to defer that decision of how to do it, whether you put it all in one spot or just make sure you're directing in the verbiage to check other places. But I think the point of making people aware that there's more than one place you need to look is what we're trying to accomplish here.
Right.
And again, if we need to table it, that's till next go around, I'm good with that. So
Mhm.
I'm fine with passing it, and just getting it on the books,
Sure.
and then let them come back and fix it,
Yeah.
fix it all. And I agree, the idea of just saying, see page, whatever, section, whatever, for further details, doesn't require a text amendment, does it? It just needs a little, does it require anything? I don't know.
What do
Even
you
if you
suggest?
strike out a word or add a word, that's a full text amendment. That's a full process with
Okay.
the staff report and everything else.
Would you suggest tabling it, or what would you suggest?
You could really go either way. It sounds like if you adopt this, we're going to have to do another text amendment next month. If this is tabled, this may be incorporated in the staff report. Either way, we're going to have to do something next month. So
This has more than berms in it. It has the gatehouses and other stuff
But
in it.
we can table just the berm section, correct?
you could amend the text amendment to only apply to section D17 AG and remove the other reference.
Okay.
Is that good?
But there's no, I mean, I don't think there's any urgency
Okay.
for either. There's not like, oh gosh, we got to do this hurry before this next
Right.
project.
I just want, whatever's easy for you guys.
Yeah, if we're going to make a change, I would rather we just table it and go and get it all done so that
Yes.
what the public sees in the packet is what we are passing and what you all are voting on. I just prefer, that's just a cleaner.
Table it and-
Table all of this.
And say, fix it all for next time.
Yep.
Is that cool? Okay. All right. Can I get a motion to table?
I make a motion, we table and direct staff to correct or fix or recommend a new verbiage on the berms for next meeting.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. So we'll table that till next time. And whatever it takes to consolidate, put it all together, make it easy. I'm just concerned about developers who don't know our UDO coming in and missing something, and they go out and say, you know what I'm saying?
All right, we're gonna have to pour on a pot of coffee for the next council meeting. Like, there's gonna be a lot of code.
Yeah, okay, okay. Okay, item E, we moved this from earlier, so item E is landscaping.
The interlocal agreement. with-
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed, I'm sorry, thank you. Discuss possible consideration and authorization of staff to enter into interlocal agreement with Union County for funding Weddington residents on the senior nutrition program wait list. Can Karen, or I guess Karen, can you explain to us what that is?
I can. Staff received communication from the Union County Manager's Office regarding Weddington residents currently on the waiting list for the senior nutrition program. And as the latest update, there are 10 Weddington residents that are awaiting service. The estimated cost per participant for frozen meals is $7.65 a day and $5.60 per day for warm meals. And they determine whether the participants get frozen or warm meals by how far they are from the meal preparation site. The manager's office made a point of saying any funding that the town provides will go to Weddington residents on the waiting list, period.
Gotcha.
So that's part of I think the interlocal agreement that they provided. And they will also provide a baseline of the funds, because not knowing where everybody lives right now, and not knowing if we were going to agree to fund anything, they didn't give us an amount. So it would be between 14, I just wrote it down, I'm sorry. So it could be between $14,000 and $19,000 a year for the 10 residents that are awaiting service.
Okay.
If I can add to this too, we had, I guess this was 2 meetings ago at WUMA. One of the gentlemen that participates in this program, he's a volunteer. And what this is in Union County, we have residents who, through no fault of their own, they've just reached that age where either other family, friends, et cetera, are not there to help them with some of their needs. And he said that this program is designed to help keep these folks in their homes. And he said, as a matter of fact, for most of the people that they are serving, that this is what is keeping them in their homes. That you may have other relatives or neighbors that are helping out with other things, but the ability to get a meal on the table is what's allowing them to stay in their homes. And that again, the presentation he made at WUMA, he went over the numbers for each municipality in our neck of the woods in the western part of the county here. And gave us the numbers of how many people were on the waiting list. Because obviously right now, the county does their budget, and when it's set for the year, it's set for the year. And then they get applications in. These folks are vetted. He made that very clear. He said, this is not something that you simply call up and sign up for, and then they start showing up. He said they vet the recipients. And so they know that it is a legit concern. I know Marvin has done, that they have passed Wesley Chapel, I'm sorry.
And Marvin does too.
Wesley Chapel and Marvin have done this. And what the county is simply asking is that for each of these calendar or budget years, not calendar years, but budget years, that if our town or municipality feels so guided, that we help make up that difference to serve the folks that are on that waiting list.
Right.
And I'll admit that I'm certainly using taxpayer money wisely is what we all want to do. There's part of me that goes back, if you're familiar with that story about when Mr. Crockett from Tennessee was in Congress and there was the fire and they were passing money, and Congress wanted to pass some money to help the homeowners there in DC, and then he got back and the guy was saying, well, what are you doing? Everybody here has got concerns too, et cetera. So I understand that side of the argument here, but the way it was described to us at the meeting, these are long-term residents of Union County. These are folks that grew up here, worked here, paid taxes here,
Right.
and this is what is helping them stay home.
Right.
And so that's where I fall on it. If the will of the council is to do this, I hope we can. I think, Leslie, when I spoke to you prior to the meeting, this is certainly within our budget ability to do. But again, I wish I could have had the individual come here tonight to give that presentation, because he makes certainly made a very solid, very coherent and powerful recommendation for the communities to try to step up and help these folks.
Right.
One question, one of the several questions. The county does a budget each year, which they're doing right now, like we are. We have no idea if they're increasing their budget or not to get some of these people off the wait list. I have no idea. That's why I'm asking. Or is this saying they don't have any more money, but this is the budget year starts, this is
Right.
when everything gets set.
So he hasn't, in communications from the manager's office, that hasn't been mentioned, what their budget, if they're expanding their budget to include more. I know that they work on getting the routes done, and I think that's how they budget it, how many they're getting. I know the delivery routes for the meals. So that's, I think they plan on how many are on the routes, and that's how they figure out the budget. And if there's not a route available, that they can't include it in the budget.
Yeah,
I was
the
trying
people
to-
that do
I
it
was
are
poking
all
around trying-
volunteers. I mean, there's no paid
My
staff.
wife
Joseph-
showed up.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
But I just want to understand,
I thought they'd maxed out their budget. So
that was for this
Yeah,
year,
I guess,
this year,
yeah.
yeah.
for this physical year.
And so they're looking at municipalities in Trail, Stallings,
Right.
Marvin.
To hit the waiting list.
Yes.
Not- and they're not asking us, they're not asking for funding to subsidize everybody. They just want the funding for the folks on the waiting list.
Yeah,
Right.
Within
Correct.
our municipal limits. And I know like Lincoln Chapel had
And this
17,
is for
we had
next
10.
physical year,
Yes,
not for the interim, it's for the
Correct.
next physical year.
Correct.
Yes.
What's the maximum amount they're asking for? If we do anything, it should be up to, and they got
it would be up to 19,890, I believe. I have to,
19,800, so say 20,000.
Yeah, 20.
because I don't do math, wherever Chad is.
And, and I'll agree with Jeff too, if we have residents here who are in need, I think we should try to help our folks. And they've lived here, they've paid taxes. A lot of them are, elderly or disabled. It's almost like you've heard of Meals on Wheels. It's that kind of thing, where they bring the food to you.
And they kind of use this as a well check program too,
Yeah.
and they can refer these residents to programs that the county
Mhm.
provides for. So it's,
My feeling has always been, if Weddings is a wealthy town,
The one thing I would
and we
worry
can
about
do this. I think.
is future budget creep on this. It goes from 10 to.
Well, that's why it would be an annual.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not.
I know
saying,
we're not, but it's something I have a
Sure.
concern that this.
and
Absolutely.
chances are the number's not going to go up.
I understand.
Pardon
The number is already, I mean, we started out this year with 16 folks on the waiting list. So
Overall.
yeah,
Yeah. And now,
in Weddington.
and now it's down to
In
10.
Weddington.
Yes,
Yeah.
and now we're down to 10.
So, no, and again, I'll say, I think it's always good when you can help folks in your own community, and that's what we're all about: health, safety, and welfare of our residents. Any more questions or comments before we decide what we want to do? Can I get a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we enter into an interlocal agreement with the Union County to provide additional funding for Weddington residents who are on the wait list for the senior nutrition program.
Okay.
Not to exceed for $20,000
And for the physical.
and for
year.
FY '26.
Yes. Okay. All right. All in favor? Okay.
I hate spending our money that way. It's not one of our major functions, but it's a hard not to.
Right. You're helping folks. So, okay, it's passed unanimous.
Well done.
Thank you. Okay. Item E, landscaping and maintenance. I wanted to pull this off here and talk about it, and you guys can, talk about it as well. I know there's 3 proposals out there, and I guess my concern
I saw that
is
one. It was going to be close.
that's lightning. We have a bad storm here. If you're watching from home or you're watching this later,
You may not be watching now.
we have a bad storm going on here. So, or wherever you're out you're watching. But
Scared.
anyway, landscaping and maintenance. Where I was going with this is, personally, I feel like what we've been getting has been sort of sloppy work. I took pictures today, and there's right up here, just almost in front of town hall, there's vines and looks like trees and stuff growing, and whoever we get, I just wanted to to say this: it needs to be better than what we've been getting, because what we've been getting is like, let's just get it done to say we did it and move on. And you've got all these, it's like kudzus and stuff growing up in our landscaping out in front on the main highway here in front of the town, and that's not acceptable. So whatever whoever the staff chooses, I would say it's got to be better quality and a neater process than what we've been going through, because it's definitely what we've been getting. It's not what we need to be, what we've been paying for. It's my feeling.
I guess to Jim's point, there's 3 of them here. Is one of those the existing one? Because I don't know.
Yes.
Yes.
Are they the low bidder?
Yes. They're not? Oh, the middle one didn't, they didn't complete they didn't put everything in there,
I'm
so.
past my limit.
Yeah, the park property and they didn't give me numbers on those. Right.
Okay. So are you guys still thinking, or you're waiting on us?
Still math.
You're calculating over there?
Somebody doing the Jethro Bodine ciphering over there to figure out who's the low bidder. Or you have 2 about the same.
Hang on, I've got to go back to it.
How can you service the park?
That the property on Providence will probably need, it's very seldom. In the growing season, they'll do it probably once or twice, and then maybe once a month. Maybe. The park out back usually goes about once a month, maybe twice in the growing season, just to keep it tidy. I should have included the scope of work on this, but if you're not happy with who we have now, we can go with somebody else.
Could we possibly go with someone else that's close to that price?
Sure.
Does that work in council? Because
It's up to you.
and whoever you go with, stress to them, we're not happy with what we've been getting.
Okay.
You got kudzus growing up in the middle of our shrubbery and our bushes right there in the middle of the highway. It's like, you see that, why not pull it up, get rid of it? But no, they just trim it off with the bushes, and the kudzu grows right back up, and I took pictures on the way in this
Whatever the
afternoon.
creeper stuff is.
Yeah, and it's just, you got red bushes, and you got this big kudzu type creeper stuff just sticking up, waving in the wind. So it's just crazy. I don't know how they can't see that. So anyway, can we move to use someone else?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay. Do we need to vote on this?
Was there someone that you recommend, or?
Did you want to talk to any of them?
I'll be happy to.
Would you?
So, but do we need to?
That's up to you. What do you want?
What about the next one on the list? Besides the one we have, the number 2 slot.
The Barbie lawn and landscaping, they
Mhm.
weren't complete with their proposal, so I could call and get it complete. They just didn't give me all their numbers.
It's less expensive than the green space, right?
Right.
Well, could
For
we
what
do
they
this? Could we,
proposed.
like tentatively approve them, conditioning it on your discussion with them on like your specific concerns that you've seen. And if you feel like it's a satisfactory answer, you can tell staff that, hey,
We'll give you.
we're gonna go with them.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to do that.
I'll send you
And that
their,
way-
Okay?
We-
I'll
we
send
go
you
ahead and
contact information.
We can move forward.
Pending
Yeah.
that discussion.
Pending review or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Discussion.
So let's do that. All right.
Yeah.
Can we get a motion?
That was too long to figure out a motion on.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Just authorize, sorry, I would say just do a motion to authorize staff to enter into a contract with landscaping after consultation with the mayor in an amount not to exceed. Quick math. What's the
Okay.
annual? Hold on, let me get you a number.
What should be the annual number, Karen?
Yeah, that's what. Leslie, do you have an annual
Leslie?
number for landscaping? That's
think
good.
that's-
Yep, not to exceed
I think
7,500 a month.
And that's good. That's padded. Right. Okay. All right.
Okay,
Yep. And I'll get you their contact information.
okay. All right, so
Okay, yep.
I didn't
Whatever.
hear what you
Okay.
said.
Just have a motion to authorize staff to enter into a landscape, a contract
Big number.
in an amount not to exceed $7,500 per month after consultation with the mayor.
That's $90,000. What is our allocation in the budget?
Well, it's, this cost per service thing is the one that's drawing me. If they're doing it twice a month at $340, so $750 and then $1,000. So some months might be more than other months.
I understand that because you got mulching and, other stuff
Right.
goes. How much are we spending this year? What is the budget? What is your projected budget?
Well, we pay, the first one is our current, so we're paying, I think, 3750 or 4250 plus when they do the other properties. So, and then we pay separate for like mulching and
But you don't have
flowers.
you have an allocation budget put in there for this coming year?
I do. But the budget includes, let me subtract out the mulching.
$9,000 keeps somebody in beans.
For this year, we're gonna be at, probably about 70,000.
This year that we're ending,
Yes.
and then what did you have budgeted for next year? So if we're gonna enter into a contract, we're not gonna exceed the budgeted number you put in there.
Right.
105,000.
You got
Because
100.
it has mulching in it, which is 20 to 25,000. They do every other year, but they haven't done it for the last couple of years, which is.
You can tell.
Part of the
Yeah.
problem. Yeah, so, because we had more budgeted for this year, but since they didn't do it, we're under budget. So we're just rolling that into next year.
God, that's-
It was actually included. They did do it last
It
year.
is.
Oh, it's expensive.
Last year.
Last
Having stuff done.
last year they did it, and it was included. Right.
So do you
That's
want,
why-
would you
that's why-
prefer to not
that's
to
why-
exceed the
that's-
budget number or set a number lower than $90,000?
Well, she's estimating 90, I would say, let's try to get it done for that.
Okay.
Yeah,
And if it ends up, we have budgeted over, it was always negotiation, we can always amend the budget.
right.
Whatever, but I would
Okay.
try to get it as blasted cheap as we can,
All right.
because I don't know.
Yeah, and we can get together before I talk to them.
I think where you're not happy with what you've got, you're really likely to have to spend more than you're in that.
Oh, you may well.
Might, but we can see.
Right.
Okay.
All right, so,
I don't want to close the door on getting something better because of that.
No, I don't either.
Right.
If they're better and it's a little bit more, I'm for it. because if you don't get a good job, it ain't worth what you pay them.
Right. So, okay.
So the number is 90?
But that's a big number for us. It boggles my mind. It's that.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot, doesn't it?
You know, it's not just here. They do the medians
I know
and,
they do.
okay.
Yeah,
and
the
the-
They gotta go up
And the
down
right of way,
Providence Road
right,
and
on all the
ma-
major
yeah, I
roads.
know.
yeah.
Mhm.
But
So-
25,000 for mulching. But of course, I guess they do all those trees too, don't they?
So the mulching is included in the bids.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
included?
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
Okay, so 90.
so 90.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna take a stab at this. Can I get a motion to not to exceed $90,000 on condition that after I talk with them, that they're acceptable and they'll accept the offer.
And yeah, you authorize staff to execute the contract.
You know, yeah, and in the motion to authorize staff to
Subject to.
execute, subject to the,
After,
executing contract.
after consultation with Mayor. I got it.
You got it?
You got it.
So, good,
Okay.
thank you.
But somebody's got
Time out,
to,
but
Get
you
a,
do.
yeah, can I get a motion for this?
I'll make a motion.
All right,
Whatever that was.
yeah. So, all in favor? All right, it's unanimous. Thank goodness we moved forward, right? Thank you. That was tough. Code enforcement report. Let's do
Y'all
it.
can start on it. I'm going back here.
Okay, all right.
Just can't.
We'll see you when you get back. Code enforcement.
we are working on cases, closing some. I did forget to put the latest report in your packet. There was a lot in there. I just realized when I went to look for it.
Yeah.
But so we're working on getting things settled. We've had a lot come up
Okay.
and a lot of people upset that their properties are under code enforcement.
And
Oh, that's right. And thank you. We're going to renew our contract with Central Lina through it, but they're subcontracting to another company, and we're going to switch the way we are paying it so that we're doing it instead of a bulk amount, we're going to do hourly. But we haven't received the contract from them yet, so.
okay. Are folks working out good in this situation to
I think so.
enforce code enforcement?
Absolutely. I think he's a bulldog.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And I would note just for the budget that we just discussed, that part-time position frees up existing staff to focus more on code enforcement and more about going out. And so when some of these administrative things and some of these permitting things, and particularly customer service items, can be taken care of by that role, the planning department's plan is to strengthen, emphasis on code enforcement.
Okay, awesome. All right, good deal. All right, anything else? Update from our finance officer and tax collector.
We are almost done with the year.
Can I get you to take the mic if you don't mind, just for streaming? Thank you, Leslie.
We are now in our last month of the fiscal year. We have a budget for next year approved. We, as part of the consent agenda, we did approve a new auditor. She currently does Wesley Chapel and Mineral Springs. So we will, her plan is to come out at the end of the month to talk to us and get all our processes and things. So hopefully that will go smoothly. And other than that, I got nothing.
The cost for the new auditors, basically what we're paying for the,
Yeah, that we sent out, I think, was either 24, 28 RFPs. We got four back, and she was the lowest cost, most familiar with our size and our structure. So the good thing about that is the budget was prepared prior to getting the RFPs back. So she was significantly less than the other auditors that proposed. So we do have available money in that line item to go towards the senior nutrition program. So, but yes, she is about the same as what we're currently paying, and we were anticipating paying more. So
Okay.
that was a good thing.
all right, cool.
All right,
All right.
anything else?
Nope, I think we're good. Thank you. Updates from town planner and town administrator.
Just note that there's a few community meetings or public hearings scheduled for the rest of this month. Those hearings are on our website. So there's 2 community meetings, I believe, scheduled for next week, and then an actual variance hearing for the end of the month, which would be scheduled prior to the planning board. So quite a lot going on in terms of new development proposals. We've broke through the backlog, so to speak, tonight with the Beckingham item in ARIA, but since we are amending our text regulations and text amendments and strengthening those regulations, that tends to have a consequence of people trying to get their application in before those take place. So we do have some development applications in right now and plenty of opportunities for public input to talk about those projects. I'd encourage our members of the public to attend.
Okay.
And really quick, I am waiting on a response from NCDOT for our speed limit changes. They're doing a, not a study, I can't remember what he called it, but he's looking into that, and I will get back to you with that. And working on talking to somebody about the mast arm poles, getting that engineering started and looked at.
Okay.
Proposed.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Great. All right. Transportation report. I am just an FYI, speaking of the polls, setting up a meeting. I want it to be a community meeting with DOT sometime in the fall. They've already said, they'll come down and do a community meeting pertaining to the widening of 16 and the railroad extension. I want this to be anybody who has a question, come on in. Presently trying to set up a meeting with them. I've already got it slated. This is a meeting just for the community for Stratford on Providence, because it does affect them drastically. So I have a community, just a small community meeting with them coming up. But the large Weddington or area community, we're setting it up for some time in the fall. And so DOT's already committed to that. So just, I'll let you know when it happens. And that's all I have at this time. Mm-hmm.
Where are we with the potential stoplight in Antioch and Forest Lawn? Has that gone anywhere? Or is it still stuck in the mud?
No, thank you for bringing that up. It went before the HOA and for the residents because of that affecting their entrance. It had to go before the residents of Brookhaven. And so it got passed.
Okay.
And so we're good to go. It's going to be probably 90 days. It could be six months before it starts happening. Yeah, no, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
The end of last year, maybe it'll be the end of this year.
Yeah, there was a lot of concern. Yeah, there was a lot of concerns there from the residents about it, that, they just didn't want it, messing up their entrance. And I get it. It's a nice entrance. So anyway, they signed off. Everything should be good. And so DOT is moving forward on that. So
That is good.
Yeah.
Nice.
So check. All right. Council comments.
Well, I guess I'll start, and thank you to all the folks that are still trooping it out here, and either they were interested in the subject or they didn't want to get wet outside. I don't know which one, but thank you for being here and contributing. Thank you to the folks that have stuck it out and been watching. As usual, I do want to thank staff for all the fine work. Leslie, once again, this town is lucky to have you doing our budget work, and how you do it is, it's awesome. I mean, to keep the numbers down like we have. So when things come, and the very reason when things come up where we need an extra little bit to do something, due to your diligence and work, we're able to do those things. So I wanted to thank you. I wanted to recognize Bill, and I think his Rusty already left, I guess, but the work that y'all are doing on trying to get some of this stuff cleaned up and nailed down. So
And Chris.
and Chris, so that there's no ambiguity. I mean, everybody knows what's expected and what the definitions are, sketch plans versus schematics and things.
Whatever.
It's going to be paying dividends down the road for everybody. And I know that's a lot of grunt work, and from my seat, thank you very much for doing that. The other thing I would mention is that I know earlier this year at the town retreat, I mentioned that I'm going to be discussing the downtown overlay, which had come up after the January meeting. I do plan to do that. I'm going to be starting to work on that project here directly because after the January meeting and the vote, Mr. Polifka asked to meet with me. We met here at Town Hall and met with him and some of his family members. And I'm going to be asking them to help me with some community engagement on the subject. But that will be coming up here in the next month or so. And I will also say that before, whenever I figure out that it's time that I'm going to put it on the agenda, I'm going to take a day and be up here about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And anybody wants to come talk to me about it and my thoughts on it, I'll be here to answer questions. But other than that, summertime's here. Let's enjoy some family and some times relaxing and enjoying the summertime. And I wish everybody well until we meet again.
Okay. Tom?
One point of clarification on that. That will come to the council for a vote to direct staff.
Yes.
That would be the proper way
Yes.
that happens.
Yes. It's got to start with that.
Yep, it starts with that. I do want to thank the members of the planning board and the subcommittee for all their work. Leslie, great job on the budget. Greg, great job on putting everything together for us to make it nice and easy tonight. I really appreciate that. Karen, even though you had a hard time finding the little thing, to get the stuff up, it was fine. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Karen W., for all you do for us. And Debbie, thank you for taking care of us. And everybody who came out and braved the weather.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Yeah. No, I also want to say ditto to going through all that again. Thank you guys. Yeah, I really appreciate all of you. So anybody else? All right, we're going to, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, all in favor? All right, we are adjourned.
There we go. At least we rode out the storm, I think.
That's right. We